As the 49ers get absolutely spanked yesterday by that end of the Kansas City Chiefs and one Patrick Mahomes. It was ugly, 44-23, the final numbers. A lot to go after here. I'm not going to leave anybody unscathed. Even Jimmy Garoppolo, to a certain degree, because I don't put this on Jimmy. But I do want to start with the coaching. But before I do that, Allen, where are you at with all of this?
Where am I not at with all of this, Dan? I mean, hear me and hear me good. It was all garbage. All of it was garbage. All right? From the coaching to the execution, all of it was terrible. You know, it was my nephew's birthday. He got surprised. He got to go to the game. The Niners ruined my nephew's birthday.
If nothing else.
He got nice seats. I was excited for him. They go in and just the weirdest thing, Dan, was just how close the game was. And I know we're going to get into the specifics, but just how things just seem to go so wrong so fast. It was a 5-point game halfway through the third quarter.
Well, I think it was a lot closer than the score sort of revealed.
Sure.
If you see that and you're in the Midwest, you're out on the East Coast, and you see that on the ticket, you're like, oh, Niners got blown out. Mm-hmm. They did. But I think those of us that break this down, watch the game play by play, you knew that this thing was hanging in the balance. As you mentioned, a 5-point game. It could have gone either way. And this is where, listen, you just can't make mistakes against Kansas City. And you cannot kick field goals. You got to get it into the end zone. But this is a Kansas City team that came as advertised. Hey, listen, man, if I'm your nephew, you know what you do? You go home and say, all right, yeah, I saw my team get smashed, but I also got to see Patrick Mahomes.
That's true.
And that's something I can tell the grandkids because Patrick Mahomes was doing what only Patrick Mahomes could do. Mm-hmm. And listen, as much as we want to talk about Tyreek Hill's gone, what's about that? It does not matter. All right? In fact, one could argue they're more effective now because you can spread that thing around. It's going to McKinnon. It's going to Valdez Scantling. It's going over here, of course, to their tight end, their talented tight end, Kelsey. And, of course, Juju Smith-Schuster gets into the act.
McCole Hardman. What, he had 3 tutties? I mean, it just was, at the end of the day, it started off, all right, you got a chance. But ultimately, I think we can sit here and talk about the NFC and how that's weak. Number one, if the Niners don't figure it out, it's not going to matter how weak the NFC is. And number two, do you really want to, everybody's saying that, do you really just want to get to the Super Bowl to get smacked? Right? I mean, well, the NFC is so much worse than the AFC. Isn't that still a problem?
It is very much a problem. But here's the thing. We're going to start with the defense. Okay, now listen, injuries are still playing a part of this. I don't want to make excuses for anybody, but they're still not at 100%, and they're still getting bodies back. But that was bad. That was really bad, what is supposedly the best defense in all of football. And I'm going to take it a step further. We love DeMeco Ryans. Mm-hmm. I might have been the only guy to call him out last week when he had that blitz and he brought Greenlaw and company in a 3rd and long and Marcus Mariota, of all people. Mariota can't throw a ball beyond 12 yards, and you blitzed him on 3rd and 11, and, of course, he ran right through that vacated spot. They went into the end zone, what I think was the difference maker, at 21-14 at the half, right after the 49ers had just scored a touchdown. You took all the momentum and the steam out of the room. That was last week. Clean the slate. Now you got Kansas City coming to town, and you know what? I'll tell you what, Kansas City just took full advantage of it. And whether it was DeMeco Ryans, and I will give Kyle Shanahan a pass because you got to defer these things to your DC or defensive coordinator. He's in a different room all week, right? He's looking at different film. And this is why Andy Reid's Andy Reid, or Spagnuolo, whoever it is that you want to credit with these sort of things, as well as Nick Bosa. They saw the tape, and they know Nick Bosa goes at one speed. Yeah. That's 110 miles an hour. Ears pinned back, I'm going after the quarterback, and I do it better than anybody. Well, guess what, Bosa? The position's a little bit more nuanced. You also have to worry about a run. You got to keep an eye on a jet sweep. Here's Kansas City and Andy Reid and company. They said that's their best player, Nick Bosa. Look at him going 100 miles an hour. Yes, he is good. Wow, he might break Strahan's record one day. Let's run right the hell at him.
Yep. We hear every week about we got to watch the film. You could tell that the Chiefs watched the film. You could tell that much because they knew everything he wanted to do. They played his aggressiveness against him. Eric Bieniemy, right? Got to give him credit. He's still there on the Chiefs. All of these types of things All of these guys are on notice to me. Kyle Shanahan, you're on notice. DeMeco Ryans, you're on notice. We like to crown all these people. DeMeco Ryans not going to be here next year. Well, you might not have to worry about losing DeMeco Ryans. You might have to worry about not wanting DeMeco Ryans. I know it's just one game, right? But it's been a trend, Dan. I think for me, it might be even less about the Chiefs game because, like we've said, the AFC is much better. The Bills and the Chiefs and everybody else. That's what it is right now. But it hurts even more. It's salt in the wound when you lost to the Bears. Yes, it was the first game of the season. Trey Lance in the monsoon. You lost to the Bears. Okay, we gave you a pass to weather Trey Lance. You lost to the Broncos. Still have no clue what happened in that game. Still have no clue. Then you lose to the Falcons. Okay, the pass there was injuries. It doesn't matter because an L is an L is an L. Now you find yourself in a position where you got to have your back against the wall. Maybe that's what the Niners like. They just cannot play correctly unless the backs are against the wall. Of course, they have the Rams coming this week, who is basically their slump buster, right? And we're going to see probably a completely different Niner team against this Ram team, but that's the only time you see that team show up.
It's still early. They were 3-5 a year ago, and there's a good chance they could be 3-5 again.
But again, sure, that's not a recipe to go to the Super Bowl.
No. And you don't want to be sub 500. But again, I bring that up, much like that of Philadelphia's in the World Series, because you got to be playing your best football when it gets cold. And when I say cold, I'm not talking about today. I'm talking about December and then heading towards the end of the year. And that's when the teams like Cincinnati a year ago, and that's when you separate who's heading to the tape and who's hitting it full stride. The 49ers are much like that of a year ago. Are showing signs, like you said, well, they look good, and then all of a sudden you have these inexplicable games, as you talked about. What the hell happened in Denver, Atlanta? But you can see it. You can see the semblance that it's there. Sometimes you take a step forward, 2 steps back. Guys are hurt. Guys are coming back. We got Christian McCaffrey. Where are we at in all of this? I still hold out. It's not even holding out hope because look at, man, I see this thing objectively. I don't have skin in this game. I'm not even a Niner fan. I've been gone from the area too long. But I look at this team, and I'm telling you right now, that with Garoppolo, and you heard me correct, Garoppolo, those wide receivers, the addition of McCaffrey, the offensive line, and defensively, they're going to be in the conversation, and especially in that NFC West.
Well, they're going to be in the conversation because the NFC is a mess. Right?
That's all you need.
That's all you need. That's fine. I'm still to the point where I'm tired of talking about the Niners in theory. The training camp came through. This could be one of the best defenses in theory. Okay, we got McCaffrey. I know it's only one game. We got McCaffrey. He got more touches than I thought he'd get, Dan. He was a part of the offense. It was not, everybody thought he'd have a couple niche plays in the red zone. They gave him touches. So you have McCaffrey, Debo, who now is struggling with a hamstring injury. Surprise, surprise. You have those guys. You have, Kittle actually had a pretty darn good game. You have all these pieces. You got Ayuk. This should be we sat here, Dan. We did the show when the McCaffrey news broke. And what did we say? This could be one of the best offenses, if not the best offense. It could be. But a lot of things can be. It's all in theory. It's all on paper. What has been the Niners' best game? Against the lowly Panthers? Now, luckily, the Panthers beat the Bucks, who seem like just as much of the dumpster fire as everybody else, maybe worse, right? Father Time never knocked on Tom Brady's door. He just decided to bust it open this year. So they're not done. I'm just saying, Dan, we have not. At what point are we going to see the Niners live up to what? And I don't want to hear about the injuries anymore because they're everywhere. I've only seen the Niners play well against the Rams, which they always do, and the lowly Panthers.
You're leaving out the Seahawks.
And the Seahawks game.
Who happen to be the division leaders.
And the Seahawks game, sure. Well, that's their 3 wins. We just named out their 3 wins.
Well, here's the thing. Is that's all you need? Is that I get it? It's frustrating right now because it's not firing in all cylinders. It's a bit of a tease, right? Mm-hmm. But this is very reminiscent of a year ago. You can see the semblance is there. It just may take a little while, a little patience, which none of us have. All right, let's face it. These are football fans. I get it. Nobody's got time for this crap. Win every game and win it by 2 or 3 touchdowns. The reality is that this is going to be very similar to a year ago. But thankfully this year, there is nobody running away with it out there in the NFC West.
Right.
And so the 49ers are going to be one of those teams where a month and a half from now, I do believe with McCaffrey and with that defense that they are going to be in the conversation. And listen, you want me to stick my neck out on the line? I think what we saw yesterday could be a Super Bowl preview again. I really do. And I think the next time the two teams meet, I think defensively the 49ers are obviously going to have to be a lot better. I want to start with Christian McCaffrey. You mentioned McCaffrey, and let's just go here because, you mentioned we were on the air reporting the big trade, and you get caught up, and there's all the euphoric state. McCaffrey's coming here. Your mind races away with you. Mm-hmm. And then suddenly it begins to sort of reality sinks in. And you begin to think about, okay, well, let me mull this over as I wake up the next day.
Right.
Where are you at with McCaffrey and this football team? Are you still up here? Are you a little bit more settled, or you still think that this is an acquisition that puts them over the top?
I think offensively it does put them in a different category. I think that when you look at the distribution of the football, and George Kittle came out and said, we got to get the ball into the hands of our playmakers, they're getting plays drawn up for them. Debo probably had one of his quieter games. They deferred a little bit. Let's get McCaffrey going. But you got McCaffrey going. You had Kittle going. So offensively, it was a bit confusing. I didn't think it was awful at all, besides the Jimmy no throws, which we know are going to happen. I just think defensively, whether it's about, and I know you got to get Eric Armstead back, if that's what we're doing and we're just waiting for to get healthy, then it's not gonna be the year, because I don't know when the Niners are gonna get healthy. But it all has always stemmed for when Jimmy Garoppolo. This is not about Jimmy Garoppolo bashing him, but he's not alone. There are a lot of quarterbacks like this. Give me a strong running game and give me a good defense that's going to put us in good situations. If you don't have both of those things with somebody like Jimmy, it's going to be tough. And right now, the defense, for as much as we love Hufanga, he's a little bit of a one-trick pony. He's missing tackles, right? You gotta step up. Fred Warner hasn't had one of his best years. Nick Bosa, like I said yesterday, that might have been one of his worst games of his career. I mean, he'll hit the tape, he'll get better. So if this defense doesn't figure it out, to be fair to Jimmy and to even Kyle Shanahan, they don't have a shot.
Here's what I would say about Christian McCaffrey and why this is sort of peculiar to me, is that as I watch them play that football game, I'm thinking, it's great to have him, and I think he could be a difference maker. And well, it's a wait and see. He can't help but make that team much more dynamic. It's McCaffrey, for crying out loud. But is that really what you needed? Because I'm a big believer that it's about, as Keith Jackson once said, the big uglies up front. It's about the big fellas in the trenches on the offensive line and the defensive line. That's where you win or lose football games. McCaffrey can't go anywhere unless he's got a crease, right? Mm-hmm. And you've got, as you mentioned, you got Debo. You've got what happens when Elijah Mitchell comes back?
Don't know.
Who's RB1? Who's the running back?
McCaffrey?
What the hell is Mitchell going to do?
Be number 2? That brings up a good point that we can get into later, because what you just talked about, okay, you have McCaffrey, you have these guys. You might need to trade Elijah Mitchell or Jeff Wilson Jr. to get something else, right? Okay, Eric Armstead, whoever, because you don't need it. You don't.
Well, that's my point. If it was such a level of need, which appears to be, because if I'm to look at what it is that you gave up, I'm going to think that you really needed this guy. And here's where I'm going about the offensive line and the defensive line. Listen, maybe he's a difference maker, but there's a good chance with Elijah Mitchell and Debo, and you find these guys who are undrafted free agents. You find them on the back end of the draft. You always have with these running backs, and they turn out to be Raheem Mostert, for crying out loud, each and every year. Did you really need this guy? Because your offensive line, especially with McGlinchey, you've got some holes, man, and McGlinchey is on his way out. How about we go into the draft and go get ourselves a right tackle? Why don't we use our 3rd or 2nd round pick and bolster that offensive line? Can't do it.
Well, you still got compensatory picks.
You can't do it, man. And this idea that we had to go get this guy for this team, I'm beginning to rethink, man, you've got maybe some bigger issues, and it has to do with the big fellas up front, because I know the hate's going to come on Jimmy Garoppolo, and I'm going to go right back at you. Sorry, Niner fans. But But listen, yeah, that pick, that was so Jimmy-esque. You can't do that. But how many times are we going to see this dude throw a pass when guys are coming on a zero blitz where he's just getting pasted? Now, when that happens with the nut, what happens with Andy Reid and Spagnuolo when you want to go right at their quarterback? What do? They either run that jet sweep or they're giving you a little screen, make you think twice. What happens when Kansas City, what happens when Atlanta comes zero? But Jimmy's throwing the thing and getting tattooed. I've never seen so many guys come free and a quarterback get absolutely wasted. And not offsetting that. You went out and got Christian McCaffrey. Don't you design something out when that blitz is coming that you can dump it off or utilize him? Is it just let Jimmy get lit up every time? Frank Clark on the interception just came free, just blitzed off the edge. They sent everybody, and poor Jimmy should have taken the sack. I get it. But how many times you want this dude to throw from his butt pad?
Yeah.
And I'm just telling you, there's more to it than just Jimmy. Kyle Shanahan, you wear some of this, bro. You wear a lot of this. This goes a lot deeper than just simply Jimmy Garoppolo making mistakes. This is about a team, Kansas City doing it one way, and the 49ers doing it another in terms of not being able to take advantage of what it is that Kansas City was doing, whereas the Chiefs looked at the Niners and said, you know what, let's take advantage of Bosa. Let's, as you talked about, let's watch tape, break it down, and take advantage of the San Francisco 49ers with our jet sweeps. They're vulnerable to that. They influenced Bosa, taking that jab step and coming upfield, and they went right around him. And meanwhile, here comes Kansas City coming 100 miles an hour, and what is it that we have to offset their rush? You see what I'm saying? They're coming at the same speed.
Well, to be fair, as they do say, Dan, you cannot blitz the good quarterbacks, right? That is a thing. The reason you get burned when you blitz the Mahomes, you get burned when you blitz the Josh Allens because they know what to do. I think Kyle Shanahan does deserve a lot of this and the offensive line and whoever you want to blame, but there's a reason you're not able to blitz. Now, part of that is how much of that is Patrick Mahomes versus Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy? I don't know. But there's a reason you cannot blitz the elite quarterbacks like that before Tom Brady, before Father Time came knocking. You couldn't blitz Tom Brady like that because he was going to burn you, right?
I'm not talking about blitzing. I'm just simply saying if you recognize that Bosa does one thing and does one thing only essentially, and that is go after a quarterback, and just go full steam up the field. Let's influence him, take him out of the play, and since we have a huge cavity there, let's run right at him, which is what they did. That's brilliant, man. That is scheming, and that's taking advantage of the other team. That's all coaching. What I see of the 49ers is a guy who stays in his own world, that being Kyle Shanahan. It gets so insular, he's scripted, and he's got Christian McCaffrey. And the penalties, I'm telling you, man, penalties mean one thing to me. And Mike Holmgren, when I used to do the Mike Holmgren show, he used to say this, that's on me. Some of these things, Dan, you can't hand it at, you can't go after me. There's some things beyond my control. Penalties, that's a linear cause and effect. That means I don't have my team to prepare to play football. Way too many penalties under Kyle Shanahan.
Well, yeah, and it's been bad this year. It's been bad, and they've come in bad spots. It is interesting, though, Dan, because we do these different levels of, I guess, if there was a time where this whole genius thing, offensive genius, if there was a time where we had Andy Reid and Kyle Shanahan in the same category in terms of offensive genius, I feel like that time ended yesterday. And I know what the first thing somebody's going to say is, well, they have Patrick Mahomes. Well, let me ask you this question. To anybody asking about, or anybody saying that, well, Andy Reid has Patrick Mahomes, the Niners have Jimmy Garoppolo. How do you think this offense would look if Andy Reid was calling plays? With now we'll see because they just got McCaffrey, but even before McCaffrey, do you think this offense would look as bad as it's looked these last couple weeks with Andy Reid calling plays or Eric Bieniemy that collection as it does or as it has with the offensive genius, the offensive guru, Kyle Shanahan? I don't care if Jimmy's QB. I don't care.
I agree with you. I certainly agree with you. And by the way, they're going after Dan. Are you still going with the Jimmy G for MVP discussion? Now, wait a minute. Let me clarify.
Here we go.
Let me clarify. I'm not voting him for MVP. I'm saying that there will be a discussion at some point this year, could be in a couple of weeks, could be in a month, that you're going to hear somebody on the national level, and it's going to, because it's so homogenous when you talk about it, everybody regurgitates what one guy says. You're going to hear from multiple people, whether it's Skip Bayless, whoever, Mike Florio, someone's going to say, hey, you know what? Jimmy Garoppolo, why not throw him in the MVP conversation? As crazy it may seem, because everybody wants somewhat of a take, and they're not saying he should be the MVP, but they're going to say he's playing like an MVP. That conversation, yes, 5-0 is still coming.
No, stop that. Stop that. You can't. Come on now. Stop.
I think Jimmy, if I was to grade him yesterday, I'd give him a solid B.
A Jimmy, but that's the thing. We guard it. We have to. We do these quarterback grades, but they're all relative.
Right.
It's a Jimmy B.
Well,
it's a Jimmy B. A Jimmy B and a Mahomes B is not the same thing.
The interception was inexplicable, but again, pull back the layers, people. He's throwing that thing with Frank Clark coming right at him, and people have said throw it away. There's not even enough time to make that decision.
Yeah.
There's one thing you can do there, and that's take the sack. And yes, he forced a pass that he should have eaten. But that's just way too many times asking your quarterback to pull the proverbial rabbit out of his hat when you've got somebody bearing down on him untouched. You've got it. Listen, if they feel as though they can exploit something on the offensive line, whether they feel that McGlinchey's a sieve or a free highway, he's the Autobahn, just get on their thing and go. Nobody's going to impede or stop you. Well, then I tell you what. Offset it by just dumping it to McCaffrey.
That's what we all thought. Again, it's early. You just got McCaffrey, but that has to be for him to get as many touches as he did and that not be part of the game plan. That's why it goes back to Kyle Shanahan. 650 chiming in. Why can't Shanahan be accountable and responsible? He never takes accountability, and I'm sick of it. That's Jan from the 659. And I agree because I've been on record, and some of these guys that kind of rub me the wrong way, some of the coaches, I would say Sean McVay used to be in that category for me, right? He's kind of a smartest guy in the room. I've actually grown to like Sean McVay because he'll get up there after they get their butts whooped and he'll do the coach's speak, but he will first always start off, that's on me, right? And you believe him. Kyle Shanahan is like a robot to me, Dan. I don't know if he's happy. I don't know if he's sad. I mean, I just feel like part of this, too, is what do the players think about Kyle Shanahan? We talk about players, coaches. Everybody loves Andy Reid. Everybody loves Sean McVay. We know that. What do the players think about Kyle Shanahan?
I think from what I hear. Yeah. By the way, we are streaming live on YouTube, on Twitch. You can see us as we speak. I'm the good-looking guy. Okay. Allen we're going to continue. By the way, if you're on the phone line, got a glitch here, hang in there. We're going to get to all your calls. Stay with us. The number, once again, 888-957-9570. We'll talk more about the San Francisco 49ers, what went wrong. And also, Christian McCaffrey. You like the trade? What do you think about it going forward after you saw him? Hey, granted, he only touched it a couple of times. I think he averaged like 9 yards a pop.
It was 6.2 yards for about 60-something yards. Yeah.
Not bad at all. All right, we continue the conversation. Allen Stiles and Devone, more after this.
Everything, our farm, our stand, our pop-up shop, it really all started when we discovered the benefits of local, raw honey for our family.
And then we decided to turn it into a business.
We were looking for something to help us get up and running.
So we got the Chase Business Complete Banking Account.
It's more than a bank account. It comes with Quick Accept, which lets us take card payments anytime, anywhere in the U.S. using the Chase mobile app. Plus, we get same-day deposits at no extra cost. For us, it's more than honey. It's about sharing a little sweetness with the world.
Get the Chase Business Complete Banking Account with the essentials you need to help get your business going. Learn more at chase.com/business-complete-banking. Chase for business. Make more of what's yours. Quick Accept is not available in U.S. territories. Enrollment required. Usage subject to approval. Same-day deposits available for payments before 8 p.m. Eastern Time, Sunday to Friday. Fees and rates apply for checking and processing. Limitations and restrictions apply. Participants compensated. Merchant services provided by Payment Tech LLC and WePay Inc. Subsidiaries of J.P. Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC.
Do you have neuropathy? Are you experiencing numbness, tingling, and pain that just won't stop? Are you taking dangerous drugs that have serious side effects and never fix the pain? If so, Please listen to this message. Neuropathy is a serious, progressive condition that only gets worse if not treated properly. Call SF Bay Wellness at 844-94-NERVE to get back to doing the things you want to do. There is no drug, exercise, or surgery that can heal nerves. Don't wait until your condition gets worse and stops you from living your life fully. SF Bay Wellness has a time-tested, proven track record of helping hundreds of patients to improve and reverse their neuropathy. If you're ready to regain your independence, contact SF Bay Wellness at 844-94-NERVE. Call now for your $99 neuropathy special and receive a personal treatment plan that is tailored to your needs. Call 844-94-NERVE. That's 844-94-NERVE and start to enjoy life again.
Every morning at 8:50, the Morning Roast presents the Xfinity Flex of the show. Fonte and Shasky flex with their best moment of the day. Replayed at 8:50.
You'll win it. 4th championship. Steph, Draymond, Clay helped the Warriors win this one alongside Jordan Poole, Kuminga, Moody. Nobody can say anything. You can't take this one away.
The Flex of the show. Presented by Xfinity Flex, the 4K streaming TV box with voice remote and Peacock Premium. Free with Xfinity Internet.
The issues in local elections across the country have far-reaching implications for the Bay Area. We're breaking these issues down on The Home Stretch, Odyssey's new original podcast. I'm political reporter Doug Sovereign. Each week I'll talk to a range of experts to give you a 15-minute download of the most pressing issues on this year's ballot.
I would argue that the economic anxiety has been far higher than any actual economic problems over most of that period.
KCBS delivers all news all the time on the Odyssey app. And listen to The Home Stretch on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car today at carsforkids.org. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. No title, no problem. Call 877-CARS-FOR-KIDS or go online at carsforkids.org to donate today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-200-1966. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-200-1966. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-200-1966. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too. Call 800-200-1966. 800-200-1966.
Finding the right Medicare plan? Oof, no easy feat. Kind of like those dances my granddaughter loves making me do. But then I found Walgreens FindRx coverage. Lets you compare plans online, over the phone, or in person. Made Medicare shopping so easy. Plus, I found plans with low-cost copays. I can get down with that. When you need to talk Medicare, Walgreens is here. Start shopping today at walgreens.com/Medicare.
Can I get the sales projections for the Springfield, Bristol, and Fairview stores?
Val's Froyo Palace is dishing out 3 more locations.
Jody, have you lined up interviews?
They need 3 new store managers before they have a meltdown.
And remember, they need at least 5 years experience.
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
No one knows where this market will go. Things could change tomorrow, next week, or next month. At Merrill, we've been here before, and history shows this is the time to stay focused on your future. Because through every market, the Bull will always have your back. Find an advisor in San Francisco at ml.com/bullish.
Merrill, a Bank of America company. What would you like the power to do?
Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated, registered broker-dealer, registered investment advisor. Member SIPC, a wholly owned subsidiary of Bank of America Corp.
For 25 years, Buy Right Market in San Francisco has partnered with purveyors of deliciousness to bring you local food that adds a dash of unique to every meal and celebration. Hi friends, this is Jamie, Buy Right's head of product. And this season, whether you're planning an elaborate meal, watching the game, heading to a friend's, or cozying up for a night in, Buy Right will help you savor what matters most. Pre-order your holiday meals at buyrightmarket.com or stop by and discover something unique for yourself. Gather, share, and enjoy with Buy Right.
Now back to 95.7 The Game.
San Francisco 49ers find themselves under the 500 mark after the loss at the hands of the Kansas City Chiefs as they just get absolutely torched. Kansas City scoring 6 touchdowns in their last 7 possessions, and one of those possessions happened to be a missed field goal. It was pretty ugly. It was Kansas City as advertised as they took a once close game and they just ran away and hid. A lot of things to get at for a team that was thought to come in with the best defense, at least statistically, in the NFL. A lot of people comparing them to the 1985 Chicago Bears, and that defense was just bad. Bad. Couldn't stop the run, couldn't stop the pass. No pressure, again, for the second week in a row on that of Patrick Mahomes. It was all Kansas City, and everybody shares the blame in this one. All right? I mean, I'm going after Kyle Shanahan. That's the easiest target in the room, and I'm a guy that hates, like, going after the quarterback is just such fundamental sports talk radio 101 crap I hate doing. But sometimes, like my man, especially when you get Jimmy G, my boy, a little dirty, you need to help him out. It's the only reason.
That's what this is about. That's what this is about. Well, the defense gave up 529 yards, 11.3 yards per pass. That is historically, that is, those are Madden numbers, right? One sack on the day, 5.3 yards per rush. At some point, here's the problem. Do we sit here and just say, look, it was just a bad game. The Chiefs are better than us. We'll go back to the drawing board. And again, that's why for me, the problem isn't necessarily this game. Now you got to go back to the drawing board. I thought you went back to the drawing board after the Falcons. How many times how many tapes you going to burn?
Joel has been hanging out through the break. Let's get to my man, Joel in Soledad. Not exactly sure where that is. What's up, Joel?
Hey, what's up, guys? It's about 30 minutes south of Monterey.
Oh, okay. So are you out past Carmel? And yeah, I know where you are. Okay.
Yes, about 30 minutes south of Carmel.
¿Qué significa Soledad?
Soledad.
Oh, Soledad. Oh, like solidarity.
It means, yes. Well, Soledad. It was.
Soledad.
Yeah, it means solitude.
Okay.
In Spanish.
All right.
Yeah, but anyway, thanks for taking my call first of all. And the thing I wanted to mention is that, you could tell that Reed he just outcoached D'Amico Ryans. I mean, he had the answer for everything that D'Amico was trying to do. He would counter it, and like you said, you can't give up 520-something yards. I don't care who the hell you're playing, right? You have to button it up a little bit. The injuries didn't help. We know everybody's injured. Maybe it'd be a little different with our Armstead and maybe Kinlaw and those guys there. But other than that, I mean, I think basically maybe we can just say that we lost to a superior team with a superior coach and with a great quarterback. Maybe it's just as simple as that. But and the other thing is that the great teams that I've known in the past, including the Niners when they were great, they're very disciplined. They're disciplined, and they don't make dumb penalties. How do you give our special teams too? I thought we had gotten all that straightened out, and then we give right out of the third quarter, we give up that long run and then a dumb penalty by Jennings, and you give Mahomes at the 32, 33-yard line, we're not going to win like that. And so basically that's kind of like what I'm saying. I like the McCaffrey trade. I believe McCaffrey, once he gets involved in the offense and immerses himself in it, I think it's going to help Jimmy because it's another little way to get away from pressure or get rid of the ball. And I think McCaffrey can make plays, and that's what I'm looking forward to. And I think we just have to look at the division, and hopefully we can beat the Cardinals and then beat the Seattle, even though Seattle's playing really well right now. But I think that if we just concentrate on our division, take it from there, and hopefully we get a little bit healthier in the rest of the season.
All right, thanks, Joel. Have fun out in Soledad. He said a lot there, and I think, he's right. Sometimes, as much as we want to break this down, Kansas City is historic. Let's not forget.
Yes, and they had just lost to the Bills. We had sat there and said, is it better off facing the Chiefs if they lost to the Bills or if they beat them? Ultimately, it probably wouldn't have made a difference, but it doesn't help that they did just lose to their rivalry that's starting out. So, you know what? I'm going to take this out on the Niners since the Niners have this number one defense. Okay, we'll show you what type of offense we got for your number one defense. So, didn't help. They probably would have beat them either way, but they're just better. They're just better.
Yeah, let's face facts. And what you're witnessing with Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City, this is generational.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have to recognize that this is not a normal football team just having another good year. That what they're doing, we may never see for a very, very long time. It's similar to that, what you're witnessing as Warrior fans. Just don't think of this as another team that sort of beats you up. And, yeah, there's blame to go along with the 49ers, and we'll certainly do it here. But I do think that we have to take into account, as the caller pointed out, that Kansas City is pretty darn good as well. We'll get to Antonio coming up in just a bit. But, yeah, I guess the rub there becomes if you are an elite defense, which we were led to believe, and in the first month of the season, that's certainly what we were talking up, then doesn't elite defenses, shouldn't you at least be able to at least hold your own against an elite offense? Should the disparity be that great if you're supposedly great on defense side of the ball?
Yeah. And then it comes back to what we continue to talk about. Al Shire out, Emmanuel Mosley out. What are we supposed to do with these injuries? That's the question. The bottom to be fair though, going back to the whole AFC versus NFC, at this point in time, whoever makes it to the Super Bowl between the AFC and NFC, the AFC team is going to be heavily favored.
Oh yeah.
Heavily favored. So it's not as if the Niners are on this island and I don't think the Niners got exposed in any way. But if anything, they just got exposed to, wow, we are just not even close to the Chiefs level. Now, if everybody, because we can sit there and say, well, they're not completely healthy. I don't know what the Chiefs injury report looked like, but I can tell you they probably got some injured guys too. Everybody does.
Yeah, not like that of the 49ers. I don't know how the hell to explain this at this juncture.
It's the Niners and the Chargers. They're having a rough go. The Niners are there every single year. It's just getting to the point where what do we do with that information, though? We still got to play the games.
No, it's true. If you get a chance, Sterling, let's just hear from my man Antonio, who's hanging out in Oakland and wants to get in on the conversation about the 49ers losing to Kansas City. Antonio, what's up tonight, my man?
Oh, man, still feeling a little heartbreak, man. I was expecting the Niners to win, but the defense played horrible. Garoppolo, that one pass he threw in the red zone, that was pretty bad, but 3rd and 11, man, you let Scanley run right by you, man. Come on, Travarius Ward, Mooney Ward, and 3rd and 20, you let Jerick McKinnon, our former player that couldn't even get on the field with us. This looked like a modern day Marshall Faulk meets Kevin Faulk on that play. Oh, it's dreadful, man. Like the Niners on both sides of the ball, they look like my A's in baseball, man. Like terrible, just like, and they're way better than this, man. And this week we face the Rams, so perfect team to face when you're going through this right now. Team that you own, you match up so well with. So, yeah, Kyle Shanahan got to get better at dialing up plays, man. Get creative. George Kittle, he mossed that dude for a touchdown. I was so fired up. Damn, I was fired up. I was so happy. But, yeah, I think we can bounce back next game, man. 3-4, it's so bad right now.
All right, thanks, Antonio. By the way, What's up with third down and long in the Kansas City Chiefs and the 49ers going back to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, it is not a good recipe if you are a 49ers fan or somebody on the 49ers. I think Antonio made a good point. Now, George Kittle, again, great game. This was a little bit of vintage George Kittle that we saw. He was catching the rock. He was getting, scoring touchdowns, doing a lot of different things. We're putting a lot on this Rams game now. And even if we want to continue to be optimistic and say, you know what, the Chiefs, hey, it's the Chiefs, the Bills, and everybody else. All right, we're not done. NFC West, we can figure it out. You better beat the Rams now. You better beat the Rams. Because, or are you a Niner fan that just feels like my problem with the whole 3-5 thing is that, yeah, you went to the NFC Championship last year, but last time I checked, you weren't playing just to get to the NFC Championship. You're playing to win another Lombardi. It's the quest for 6. You're trying to win a Super Bowl. So 3-5 to me is not a good representation of how to win a Super Bowl. Because when you went 3-5, you did not win a Super Bowl. So everybody, well, we went 3-5 last year. Okay, cool. What'd you win? Absolutely nothing. So people shouldn't be. Now, if it happens, you have that to lean back on in terms of you can still go to the playoffs. But everybody running around saying, hey, we were 3-5 last year. Who cares? That's not a good thing.
LQ, Brentwood, the location. Gimme LQ, talking about the 49ers.
Hey guys.
What's up, buddy?
Want to reminisce. This game reminds me when I was 12 years old, the Niners played the Eagles in 1994. Deion Sanders, the week before that, had a pick six and sealed that game. And everyone was so excited to face Randall Cunningham, and we got blown out by the Eagles. It was the same feeling. It was heartbreaking. You had this excitement. But that team, as you know, they won the Super Bowl. They won like 9 games straight. I'm not saying this is what's going to happen to the Niners. But instead of blaming the coaches and the players, I think we're going to be okay. Well, we had a lot of players coming off injuries. Williams, Bosa, and we just got out-coached and outplayed. This team is built to win in the playoffs. Just get us there. I know you're saying, hey, 3-5 is not good, but as soon as we're healthy towards the end of the year, I think that's when you start to see how good this team is. That's all I got. Have a good night, guys.
I'm with you, LQ. Philmo, I'm sure, has got something to say. Let's get to my man hanging out in San Francisco, California. Philmo, Mike, what's up, buddy?
Hey, man, I'm in the town right now, but all I gotta say is, man, I'm not gonna use the reference of we were 3-5 before, but people need to calm down, man. We got beat by the Chiefs. They're a great team, but it's not the playoffs, so it ain't over. My thing is, you got what, 10 more weeks left in the season, 9 more games, 10 more games. Let's see what we can make over these 9-10 games. We can't get frustrated with what's going on right now. You want your team to be playing the best football week 16, 17 going into the playoffs, not in week 7. So, if everybody could just pump their brakes, I don't mean to sound oh, man, it's not, we were 3-5 last year. I'm not using that as a reference, but we do need to calm down. Our schedule is pretty soft the rest of the way. You feel me? We made a lot of mistakes. We lost the game. You get blown out. You get punched in your mouth. I'm happy they got punched in their mouth early by an AFC team and not an NFC team. Maybe we got to look at the good. You got to take the good with the bad, man. For real.
Yeah, and you look at this just historically, and again, going back to last year, the Los Angeles Rams that ended up winning this thing. Mm-hmm. They had ebb and flow. I remember, there was Stafford where people bench him. He's throwing too many picks late in the game. He just... Stafford's got to go, and the Rams dealt with problems. We do have to keep in mind, big picture, you don't want to be 3-5, but especially this year where it's so wide open in the NFC, and you don't want to lose, and you hate getting blown out, and certainly, we're here for you. We're the platform. If you want to sound off and let some of that frustration go, we're here for you. But I'm with Philmo, man. It is a long, long way. And once you do not want to hit December and be played like this.
No, I agree. I think for me, I don't know how many stinkers you can allow and still believe that this is a Super Bowl winning team. They have to turn the corner here at some point, or else they will run out of time. Like I said, when you lose these games, that's fine. right? There's still plenty of time. It just makes the next game that much more important. That's it. I'm not saying they're done. I'm not saying they're necessarily cooked, but it just makes every game that they have that much more important. And you still got a lot of games against your own division that you haven't even played the Cardinals yet.
Yeah, if you think back when I was growing up and it was, Bill Walsh and Seifert and company, you would go, 14-2 or 13-3, and you were in control and you would play the Rams. And even if you lost, to your point, you're like, well, it's not the end of the world. We're 5-1. I mean, they would always have a strong winning percentage. Now, whatever happened in the playoffs would happen. Sometimes you get to and win a Super Bowl, sometimes you didn't, but you were definitely a winning franchise. I just think winning under Kyle Shanahan is a little bit different. It's more of a sojourn. It's not like we dominate throughout the season and then we'll see what happens into the playoffs. We'll see if we have home field advantage. That was usually the big question for Niners going back in the day. Do you have home field advantage? That's what you're playing for towards the end of the year. And then let's try and win that Super Bowl. This year, you're just trying to get in. And then once you get in, you catch fire. It's a very different sort of roadmap to a Super Bowl.
Going back to one of the callers had mentioned, hey, we just, we're built for the playoffs and we just got to get healthy. To me, we have reached the point where getting healthy cannot be an assumption. The chances of the Niners being as healthy as you want them to be at the very moment of time the playoffs start, to me, those percentages don't look very high. Now, I could be wrong, and I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think we can assume it'll be later in the year we'll be healthy. You just lost. Debo got a hammy now, right? And Juszczyk broke a finger. So I don't know why. Greenlaw. So I don't know why we can assume, or I don't know how we can assume later in the year we will be healthy. You just can't assume health for any team, but specifically the San Francisco 49ers.
I would agree with that. Let's get out to Brentwood and David standing by. What's up, David? What do you got, my man?
Hey, guys. Good evening, first of all. Listen, I've been thinking a lot. Actually, I'm going to change what I was going to talk about. I just thought about it. You know what? Everybody keeps waiting for the offense to make adjustments on the second half because seems like they stop scoring points. But it seems to me like the problem is not really the offense; it's on the defense. The defense keeps breaking down on the second half and it starts giving up points like it's going out of style. Because when you think about it, yesterday it was on the second half that they gave up 30 points, and it seems like to be a recurrent situation on every single game. I mean, with Kyle Shanahan, we already know for some reason he starts playing very conservatively on the second half. But at the same time, DeMeco Ryans needs to start making adjustments, since the other teams are also making adjustments to what he's doing. And he seems to me like he is not making those adjustments. He has a good team. He has a good defensive team. He should be able to make adjustments based on what the other team is doing. And in every game that we lost this year, we lost it in the second half. The defense started giving up points big time. So I don't know what you guys think about that.
Yeah, getting back to the conservative nature of Kyle Shanahan, he did it again. They were down 2 scores, got the ball back, almost the exact same scenario like it was Atlanta. Tick, 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 tick. You got about 9 minutes on the clock, and they did it again. They're huddling.
Yeah.
They ran the football, and they're taking their time. You need 2 scores against Kansas City to win this game. I would think, I get it, there was like more than 9 minutes to go. But again, no huddle, no sense of urgency, nothing in a playbook that says we're just going to stretch the field. We got to go downfield. No, we're just going to stay essentially with the scripted plays. And I'm going to throw it out to the right flat. I might hand it off. We'll move the chains and we'll get it to the 50. It might be by Tuesday, the time we get there.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I don't, usually there's some sort of takeaway after what happened against Atlanta or a loss, and you're like, okay, well, let's change it up, live and learn. But it was the exact same thing. You were down 2 scores to Kansas City, had the ball at your own 5. It ended up in a safety, and Jimmy Garoppolo, he actually went in the wrong direction this week. But again, there was no stretching of the field, and there never is in this football team. I'm going nuts. Where's the cough button? Allen, for crying out loud.
You just didn't press it. It's there.
I'm out of water. Water! Where's our water kid? Water kid! More water! No. Danny Gray comes in. This is my favorite. There's one guy that actually stretches the field, right? That they'll throw deep to. Danny Gray. They threw it to him in preseason. Trey Lance connected with them. The one time, twice, I think, this year, Jimmy Garoppolo's gone deep. He comes into the game. How obvious is this? Kansas City's like, oh, this is the first time you played all game. I wonder where you're going.
Yeah.
You know what happens? He's so excited, he jumps off sides. He jumps off. This is the beautiful part. Instead of like scrapping the play, I noticed this. They said same formation, stayed on the field, and boom, he goes down the field. He's double covered. Jimmy can't squeeze it in. He comes out of the game. That's the last time we threw it down the field.
It's lazy. The only other guy I would put in that category is Ray McLeod. But we've never seen Ray McLeod.
Well, we did once, and he dropped it.
Well, I'm going to say Ray and Danny Gray in at the same time.
Okay. No, have we seen that? I don't know.
I haven't seen that.
J-Mac in San Francisco. Let's get out to my man, J-Mac. J-Mac, you got some water for me, bro? I'm like dying here.
I wish. Cats 81 OB. What do you think about Shanahan being owned by Andy Reid, just as Shanahan kind of owns McVay? But it seems like Shanahan cannot figure out Reid, and Reid has our number each time.
Thanks, Joe Mack. That's my man, Joey Mack. What's going on? Shout out San Francisco Police Department. Shout out to my man, Joey Mack. Yeah, I agree with that. I don't know if there's a rivalry. I don't know if he has his number. All I know, Joe, is that Andy Reid came to town and just kicked his ass and then got out of Dodge and just said, this is how you coach and this is how you take advantage of another team.
Yeah, the problem with that is the problem with that is Andy Reid's ownage also includes the postseason, right? The ownage that Kyle Shanahan has had over McVay, he has had it in the regular season, but last year kind of skews everything because they beat the Niners on the way to winning the Super Bowl. So you can win all the regular season games you want to, but we have a Lombardi, the most recent one, and you do not. So again, this game against the Rams is huge. I know we keep saying there's time, but you can't keep saying that every week. And this is now, okay, AFC, they're much better than NFC. That's the Chiefs. They're just better than us. See you later. Great job. Hopefully we get better. Okay, now it's the Rams. Now it's Rams week. You typically have success against them. Now it really matters because you're in danger of losing 3 in a row here.
To your point, is there a false sense of security, meaning that let's say that they don't go to the playoffs this year because they dug themselves in a hole? What's the narrative then?
Right.
Because I think, to your point, and it's logical, that we have this false sense of, well, it's 3-5. We did it last year. We'll do it again this year. 3-5 is a scary place to be.
It is.
And it doesn't always mean that you end up going to an NFC championship.
You beat the Rams to do it, but you had to win that game to get in. It wasn't as simple. We were 3-5 and we just coasted in. You were up against the wall for the back half of the season, and you were in the playoffs before the playoffs. Maybe that's why you burned out.
All right, when we come back here on 95.7 The Game, a little bit more on Christian McCaffrey, and where I think that maybe draft picks and an area that needs to be addressed. And did you really need the guy? What sort of difference is he going to make going forward? Christian McCaffrey talking. Yes, we'll get into Jimmy Garoppolo. Was he good? Was he bad? You hating on the guy? You want to throw a Subway sandwich right in his pretty grill? Talk to me about Jimmy G. Allen Styles, Dan Devone, back after this on 95.7 The Game.
Can I get the sales projections for the Springfield, Bristol, and Fairview stores?
Val's Froyo Palace is dishing out 3 more locations.
Jody, have you lined up interviews?
They need 3 new store managers before they have a meltdown.
And remember, they need at least 5 years experience.
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
No one knows where this market will go. Things could change tomorrow, next week, or next month. At Merrill, we've been here before, and history shows this is the time to stay focused on your future. Because through every market, the bull will always have your back. Find an advisor in San Francisco at ml.com/bullish.
Merrill, a Bank of America company. What would you like the power to do?
Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated, registered broker-dealer, registered investment advisor. Member SIPC, a wholly owned subsidiary of Bank of America Corp.
For 25 years, Buy Right Market in San Francisco has partnered with purveyors of deliciousness to bring you local food that adds a dash of unique to every meal and celebration. Hi friends, this is Jamie, Buy Right's head of product. And And this season, whether you're planning an elaborate meal, watching the game, heading to a friend's, or cozying up for a night in, Buy Right will help you savor what matters most. Pre-order your holiday meals at buyrightmarket.com or stop by and discover something unique for yourself. Gather, share, and enjoy with Buy Right.
This is your time to cash in at Cache Creek Casino Resort. To rock and to roll. Over the hills and bluffs. Go all out or go all in. With 4 stars and rising stars. Now we do more than ever, so you can do as much or as little as you want. It's your time to cash in at Cache Creek Casino Resort.
Listen, could Robert change your life?
At the age of 55, I started putting on weight, and I got to the weight of about 210 pounds. Always hungry. The heavier I got, the less energy I had. And about 6 months ago, I started taking the Andro 400, and I started realizing I had more energy. I felt better, and my mind was clearer, and I started losing weight. I went from my max weight was 215, and now I'm down to 176. My waist size has dropped from a 38 to a 32, and I've lost these big love handles that I had on my side, and I just look a lot slimmer.
Since 2004, Andro 400 has helped men lose belly fat, gain energy, and to look and feel their best. Go to andro400.com for more true testimonials, before and after photos, and special discounts. Only available on andro400.com. andro400.com.
It's easy to think all money managers are pretty much the same. But at Fisher Investments, we're clearly different.
Different? How? You sell high commission investment products, right?
No. Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission-based investment products.
Well, you must earn commissions on trades.
Nope, never at Fisher. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in our client's best interest. It's the highest standard of care for a financial advisor.
How do you know what's in their best interest?
We get to know our clients and then tailor a portfolio based on their goals and needs.
But you probably sneak in some hidden and layered fees.
No, we have one transparent management fee, structured so we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, you really do look out for your clients.
That's because our top priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. It might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly different money management.
Investments and securities involve the risk of loss.
Kansas City Steak Company, another AmericanEagle.com success story. Started in 1932 as a family-owned butcher shop, today they're a leading distributor of superior all-American steaks delivered right to your door, ready for the grill and your taste buds. When it came to their website, an average site wouldn't do. They chose AmericanEagle.com to take their website to the next level. With a dramatic increase in competition and a softening market demand, they had 2 challenges: improve their brand presence and message, and produce a positive return. AmericanEagle.com got to work and executed usability studies and detailed audits of site experience, digital assets, and marketing. The result? An integrated digital marketing and customer experience plan, organic traffic increase of 20%, and a long-term roadmap for success. If you love great steaks, go to kansascitysteaks.com for website design, development, and online solutions that bring efficiency and results. Visit AmericanEagle.com. If you need a results-driven website, call the team at AmericanEagle.com at 877-WEBNOW1. That's 877-WEBNOW1.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-200-1966. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-200-1966. That's 800-200-1966 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-200-1966. 800-200-1966.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMC FM at HD1 San Francisco. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Now back to 95.7 The Game.
We've hit the 8 o'clock hour. It is Alan Stiles and Dan Devone along with you here on 95.7 The Game. You know, one of the things that you cannot do with Kansas City, you can't trade touchdowns for field goals. And that's what they were doing in that first half, aside from that opening drive when they went down. And that actually resulted in a field goal. But the offense could not execute. Some of the first half drives, third down in the red zone, they ended up with field goals. Let's see. Their second drive, short field, they got the touchdown. Third drive, third down sack, McGlinchey allowed it. That ended up in a field goal. Fourth drive, field goal attempt negated by a false start. Fifth drive, red zone, the interception by that of Jimmy Garoppolo. 2 for 5 in the red zone, 40% efficiency. So, you cannot be kicking field goals without the Kansas City Chiefs. You got to stick it into that end zone. So, again, when we talk about execution, whether it's play calling, whether it's Jimmy G, you need to score more touchdowns.
Right.
That's sort of the object of the game here. And that sort of played them throughout the entire season, especially in the second half. What are you going to say?
Well, even with McCaffrey only knowing whatever percentage of the playbook that they went over with him, to get the touches that he gets, 62 yards. When you get in the red zone, we talked, Dan, when the news broke and we were sitting here doing the show, even the decoy aspect, right? Again, and if Andy Reid was in the red zone, same percentages, that many field goals, even with this personnel, not with Patrick Mahomes, right? You got to put the biscuit in the basket. You can't kick. Everybody knows that.
Where's that from?
From a lot of different things, I think. Everybody knows that.
Is that Dan Patrick back in the day, Sports Center? Sorry, go ahead.
Maybe. It even goes back to, you start thinking about Kyle Shanahan. He's always been a little hot and cold when it comes to going for it.
Yeah.
And I don't think they weren't in too many questionable situations, but even just the idea of maybe you light a spark here, buddy. Maybe you just get something going, because your defense is getting housed. Your defense is getting smacked all around Santa Clara right now, and you're sitting here kicking field goals. But again, it all escalated so quickly. You're down 5 halfway through the third, and then the avalanche. It's just a Kyle avalanche. When is it going to come?
Well, one thing when I think about Jimmy, let's just get into Jimmy G talk, because I think Jimmy G has really played well this year. You heard me correct. I think Jimmy Garoppolo has played good football.
You would think that, though.
I'm trying to be objective here. Okay, what am I missing here? That he didn't get rid of the ball quickly enough yesterday because that clock in his head, I knew he held on to it a little bit too long. The interception's the interception again. On a covered zero blitz, which a lot of teams have been doing, I have not seen so many guys come free off the edge or up the gut and just stick Jimmy where he's just simply he knows he's going to get pancaked and just let it go.
Yeah. I thought another reason I can't let go of the Falcons game is because I thought I would want to give Jimmy a B+ or possibly even an A- for that Falcons game. That was a good game for Jimmy Garoppolo. So to not come through and to lose that game, that hurts even more. Then going towards the Chiefs game, Jimmy wasn't the reason they lost that game. In no way. The interceptions, yes, they hurt. But Jimmy was not the reason they lost the game. They lost the game because they could not stop the Chiefs. And whatever you want to put the blame, there were too many field goals where you need to get touchdowns. Ultimately, I don't even have necessarily a problem with Jimmy G. My whole thing is, you have a quarterback that needs things to go really right in order for him to do his thing. And right now, things are not going right for the Niners, whether it be injury, whether it be execution. So Jimmy is not good enough to overcome those things. So I don't think Jimmy's necessarily playing bad. It's just not enough for this current iteration of the Niners football team.
And I understand that knock on him, that he's the limited quarterback and that he needs a running game, that you can't put it in his hands because he's not Patrick Mahomes. But have we ever tried? I mean, it's Kyle Shanahan that's run. Got to establish the run. I
thought they tried against the Falcons. I thought they had about, 3 deep shots, something like that. I thought that was one of the most impressive offensive games I've seen this season. And unfortunately, it ended in a loss. But just in terms of the play calling, let's open it up. Jimmy was spinning it. He was spinning it a little bit. Now he was spinning it to Werner, who couldn't catch the ball, and there were a couple drops, and then there was a holding on the Ayuk, so it all got, negated. But I do think that if we're being optimists, these next couple games here, when McCaffrey gets used to the offense, you could see some things. Because as we talked about that night, everything dropped with McCaffrey. If we don't, Kyle Shanahan, you got a lot of answers. I saw some conversations today in terms of, is there a quarterback in the NFL that is doing less with what they have than Kyle Shanahan? The answer is no. The answer is no.
And don't you always measure a good coach, the quote-unquote genius tag, but the guy is just the opposite that's making the most with the least amount of talent?
Yes.
Brian Daboll out there in New York.
Saleh.
When you look at what's going on with the Jets, some of these other teams, you're like, how are you getting this done? Well, that's coaching. That's often a coach that's either got the right culture, the right environment, guys buying in. Well, that gets to the point of, did you really need Christian McCaffrey? I know it's great to have him, because another way to look at this is we talk about the Sean McVay influence. Does Sean McVay in L.A. look at him again and just say, we just duked him again? I know L.A. wanted him, but how much was that? Like, I don't want McVay to have him. Because I'm of the belief, and I know I'm alone with this because I've never heard anyone else, including callers or texts, come join me here on my lonely island. The reason, at least a good part of the reason why he made that bold move to get up in the draft and go get his quarterback is because of he was trying to keep pace with Sean McVay. Sean McVay had always, from the day he arrived, just said, you want a draft pick, a first rounder, you can have it. Mm-hmm. I want Jalen Ramsey. I don't care about draft picks. I want Ndamukong Suh. Here's draft picks. Give me Stafford. Here are your draft picks. And here's Kyle Shanahan, his rival. They're about the same age. One went to a Super Bowl, and the guy went to a Super Bowl, meaning Kyle Shanahan, like the following year. Who's better? I don't know. That was the conversation. And I think he influenced Shanahan to say, I got to go get my quarterback. I got to be like that nut. I got to think out of the box. This may be very uncharacteristic, but on draft day, we're going to get our quarterback too. The hell that I got to keep pace with the Rams. That guy's out of his mind. That was so out of the box thinking of Kyle Shanahan. That's something Sean McVay would do, because we see it with Sean McVay, and I think he was influenced by Sean McVay. And once again, Sean McVay said, give me McCaffrey. And I think a lot of Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch were like, you know what? He's going to L.A. again.
Not this time, no matter what.
OBJ
no matter what.
went there.
Yeah.
Von Miller went there. We can't let them do that. Because really, when you think about it, could you use some offensive linemen maybe next year in that draft? Again, I go back to that. I know McCaffrey and bells and whistles and toys are always fun to look at, but none of that means crap if you can't block. And I think about Kansas City, the team that just pasted you. What happened to them in the Super Bowl? Patrick Mahomes got pressured by that of Tampa Bay. Vita Vea and company and David, they were in his grill. And that offensive line was putrid. And we saw he was actually pedestrian. We saw him for the first time be human. Why? Because he had no offensive line. Remember that in the Super Bowl against Tampa Bay?
But that's what they tried on Sunday. And Eric Bieniemy, Andy Reid, Mahomes, they learned from that.
But what did they do? They went out after that game, right, in the Super Bowl, the loss. They got an entire different offensive line. That offensive line is good now. Mm-hmm. You want Tyreek Hill? Okay, you can have him. We got an O-line. I'll get guys and spread it out, but I need an offensive line because we saw what happened in the Super Bowl. I don't care how good Patrick Mahomes is. You will always be nullified by pressure.
We don't have time. Tyreek Hill might have Olympic speed, but he doesn't have time to get down there, and Mahomes doesn't have enough time to throw when these guys are in our grill. So the question is, what's the percentage? Because you know that the Niners did want McCaffrey. But what percentage of it was keeping him from the Rams?
Big part of it.
Yeah.
I think Kyle Shanahan lives rent-free upstairs when it comes to... Sean McVay. He's living between the ears of Kyle Shanahan.
I'm starting to think, and this is not... Now I'm getting... I love my... I love my conspiracy theories. I'm starting to think Sean McVay, not that he's not trying, but it's almost as if he doesn't, and I know the Niners were very close to beating the Rams. We do not have to talk about Jaquiski Tartt and get you going there. But it's almost as if Sean McVay could care less about losing to the Niners in the regular season. Specifically now, but even before. I mean, He's getting to Super Bowls just like he beat Kyle Shanahan to the ultimate prize. Now it should be, all right, Kyle Shanahan, this is my turn. I got this historic defense. I got these weapons. The Rams are having a down year. And the Rams are thinking that's the whole thing going back to the 3-5 situation. Every other team in the NFC West is thinking the same thing, right? We're acting as if the Niners are the only team that can get hot. The Rams could get hot. The Cardinals could get hot. The Seahawks are technically winning the division right now. Who knows what they're going through? So you have to win these head-to-head games starting on Sunday. Everybody continues to act like the Niners are the only team that can get hot and make this run. If the Cardinals figure it out and Call of Duty doesn't derail Kyler Murray,
calm the F down,
and the Rams figure it out, maybe they finally end this back and forth with OBJ, pick up OBJ, then you look back and, oh, man, yeah, that Falcons game, that was pretty rough. Oh, man, that Broncos game, yeah, probably shouldn't have lost that. But at the time, 3-5 last year, we made the playoffs. You cannot take this stuff and just assume. Last year has nothing to do with this year.
Well, they look very similar.
But it doesn't, though. Look, again, how many things had to go right for them to get in, Dan?
The one thing about Christian McCaffrey, just to get back to him for a second, Kansas City was in on him.
Mm-hmm.
The Rams obviously were in on him. Buffalo was in on him. And then you get the sense that when they saw the asking price, they're like, yeah, you know what? That's all right. That's all right. It's like the good teams don't need to be desperate, right? If you're a good team in your Kansas City, do you really need to give up that much draft capital right now for him? If you're really a good team, if you really have the security that you're a good team, if you're secure as a head coach, I don't know. I'm just saying that what it is that they did showed some levels of insecurity. And did you really need him at the end of the day? You really needed him with a Debo and a Kittle and an Ayuk?
You can look at it a couple ways, though. Positive way to look at it, we're all in. Negative way to look at it, desperation. Which way do you want to look at it?
Sam's hanging out in West Oakland. Give me Sam talking about them 49ers. What's up, Sam?
Man, hey, Shanahan is a privileged big baby. Shanahan's a privileged big baby. I'm done with Shanahan, man. You know what I'm saying? You got every opportunity. You are boring. Your offense is boring. It is porous. It is like you ran up. You know what? Mahomes is Steph Curry, and you ran into Steph Curry, brother. No matter what. Here's the thing about the Warriors run, and I compare the Chiefs to the Warriors. No matter what lead the Chiefs go against, what does Steph Curry do? In the third quarter, Steph Curry will kick your ass. And that's exactly what he did against us. And and I'm so glad that Shanahan got a taste of this weak-ass medicine because Andy Reid showed him exactly how to coach a damn game, okay? I'm tired of Shanahan's bootsy little, Jimmy Garoppolo is this, blah, blah, blah. Let me just throw a 5-yard pass, let my wide receivers do the rest of the damn work. With your basic offense, you don't make no adjustments. You think you know what the hell you're doing. You have no idea what you're doing. I'm glad Andy Reid put some Charmin, baby. You a Charmin, baby, because he wiped it for you, okay?
There you go.
There you go.
Good call.
How do you really feel, Sam? But I do think Sam makes a good point in this, and you alluded to it earlier. For all of this offensive guru, offensive genius stuff, the play calling is stale. And if you are going to have Jimmy Garoppolo, the book is out. Okay, Kyle? The book is out. Let's throw it 5 yards. Let our guys do the work. The book is out on that. And even when it's not out, it's just not enough. So you might as well see what Jimmy can do and let him air it out because everybody knows what you're trying to do. You're not surprising anybody.
And again, I'm not one to say that Jimmy G can't throw it outside the numbers or can't throw it down the field. A lot of people say, well, he doesn't have the accuracy down the field. You got to do it more than once, every millennium just before you're passing judgment on a guy. Let's just see it before we arrive at any sort of conclusion. Speaking of Kyle Shanahan, this is him after the game talking about what was disappointing.
That's a good team. They're going to make some big plays, but I thought the most frustrating thing was the spots we hurt ourselves. In that first half, some of the false starts that we had on offense, lining up in the neutral zone on defense. For us to have that false start on the field goal I was obviously so excited because they muffed the punt the next time. But for us to have a turnover there was a real big mistake. Ended up being all right when they missed that field goal. Talked about some of that stuff at halftime. We come out, give up a huge kick return, and then have a really stupid penalty to add 15 yards at the end of it. Those are the things that disappoint me the most.
Allen saying, let Jimmy jacket.
Why not? Why not? Did we ever hear, is there any sound of Kyle Shanahan saying, I didn't have my guys ready to play?
There's sound of someone saying Jimmy jacket, which is scary. Well, yeah, I'm with you. Let Jimmy jacket. Get the T-shirts going right now. I would say this, that when it comes to the penalties that he's referring to, Kyle, I hope you're sort of shooting yourself in the foot. Maybe that's his mea culpa because, again, when I would do these shows with Holmgren, he would just say, and they would have the least number of penalties every single year. Because the minute, I'm telling you, Alan, the minute they arrived at OTAs, he would drill like a drill sergeant, like just pound it in their head. We are not. If you jump off sides, you are running and don't stop until I tell you, and it may be to the end of practice. Or he would cut a dude. He said, I don't care about second chances. He would make examples out of dudes who were undrafted free agents or maybe even a veteran. Jumping off sides and making the same penalty twice. Gone. Get out of the field. Pack your bag. You're off. You know what? And the Seahawks responded. That is coaching. I don't know a lot about football when it comes to, guys at that level, but doing that show with him, I do know that when you see, not penalties, because, listen, it's a game of emotion and it's about players, and sometimes you'll have a game where it can be off-putting and something like can be an outlier. But when it happens with a level of consistency and there's a track record, that is an undisciplined house.
Yep.
And that gets back, not to DeMeco Ryans, but that starts at the top. Because Kyle Shanahan, he's got to create the environment that this is the way we do it. You got to almost be Bill Belichick and militant-esque about things like that. Because that's what it is. It's about muscle memory. It's about if I do this again, like a dog. If I do this again, am I going to get my butt whooped? If I do this again, am I going to get in trouble? And that's got to set in where we're a disciplined football team and don't do things like that. And when it happens repeatedly, well, who are you blaming?
Well, and look, we brought up Jaquasi Tart earlier. He was on a podcast with Vish Kumaran, I believe it was, 5 days ago, and he was asked about some of these injury problems, and he said, look, I've done a couple different training camps. Kyle Shanahan's was the hardest training camp I've had to do. So you're talking about Mike Holmgren trying to nail in, all right, no penalties, we're just cutting people. Apparently Kyle Shanahan is too busy just running everybody into the ground. And then you can't cut anybody because you already got too many people on the injury list. So you can't cut anyone. So everybody's just sitting there, knowing, well, I'm good either way, right? There just has to be a level of pride. And when I hear Kyle Shanahan talk, it doesn't feel like it hurts. It doesn't feel like there's pride that they're missing.
Shanahan talking about how to fix all of this.
You just keep holding people accountable. You keep coaching, and people got to focus and keep working to get better. I mean, there's no magical answer. That's what we do throughout the week. We coach, and those guys work, and that's what we got to keep doing.
Yeah, I think, listen, Kyle Shanahan does not like talking to the media.
No.
And I know that we want to read into this, and the guy comes across as an arrogant ass, as one of the callers said earlier, that he's got a silver spoon up his you-know-what. But he just is not. I think he's in such an insular world, as well he should. He does not play this game. He's not like his former assistant, Mike McDaniel, who likes to ham it up with the media. He's just doesn't want to do it, just only going to give you enough so he can get back to doing what he does best. And that is, drafting up plays and getting these guys going. But there are, I think this year, and maybe it's beginning to sort of add up, there are more warts on this guy over the last 2 years, certainly, than because he was void of all criticism, especially after the Super Bowl appearance. And now we're beginning to see some levels of limitations that he has to address. I think at this juncture, it is becoming so abundantly clear to just about everybody that the offense needs to change a little bit. Not a complete overhaul. You're not going to be Kansas City overnight, but you need to do something more than a shallow cross or a drag route, or you need to do a little bit something more that we haven't seen, that's just utilizing these so-called stars that you have lined yourself with.
Yeah, the whole big play thing. So both the Niners and the Chiefs had 13 plays for over 15 yards. Kansas City had 4 plays go over 40-plus yards. San Francisco had 0 that went over 30 yards. So the Niners' big plays are relatively big for this offense, but they're not big plays. Now, I get it. It's Kansas City, but they don't have their explosive your explosive play can't be 17 yards. That's not going to do it. Yeah. Not in this NFL, and not if you are an offensive genius. Going even back to the Washington days, I'm starting to think this whole tree. I mean, McVay's got his Super Bowl now, but this whole tree just got anointed as they were going to be. Oh, they're all in Washington together with RG3. You got Kyle Shanahan, who he goes to Atlanta, goes to a Super Bowl, doesn't win. Matt Ryan, the MVP. I don't know how. Yes, he's had success with the Niners, but it depends on who you talk to. It don't mean a thing if you don't got that ring. You got Kyle Shanahan right there. You got McVay, who finally got over the hump. You got LaFleur, who feels like he's the worst of the bunch. So all these guys, going back to the caller, when it comes off of this entitlement, that somebody needs to hold their feet to the fire. And going back to, and specifically for Kyle Shanahan, he's talking about holding people accountable. Can somebody ask, what does that mean? How do you hold your players accountable? Does anybody know?
It sounds good. He's a politician, man. He's just working the room. None of that stuff means anything.
Yeah, we're going to hold him accountable. Okay.
All right, we'll get back. Someone to the text line before we get into the Golden State Warriors. And we'll take some more 49er calls, 888-957-9570. If you want to go back there, you just want to rant, we're here for you. But we'll do some Warriors. We've got to get into the Warriors and their latest win over the Sacramento Kings. We want to talk about that second unit, which it's going to take a while before they find some level of comfort in the rotations at work. But there was some Aaron Judge talk. And I do think it's worth mentioning, as the World Series is now upon us. The Philadelphia Phillies will take on the Houston Astros. Everybody better be pulling for Philly. It's Philadelphia, for crying out loud. I don't want to hear any Houston nonsense. Not on this show. No. If you're an Astro fan, I dare you to call you. We'll rip you. But Aaron Judge is now a free man. Here's what you do, Farhan. This is what Farhan should have done. After that last out that Aaron Judge made last night, I think he grounded out. It was a comeback to McCullers. Game's over. They get swept by the Houston Astros. He goes into the locker room, takes a shower, talks to the media, right, says goodbye. And then when he goes out to his car, guess who should have been there, contract in tow? That's right, little Farhan.
Yeah.
Waiting for him at his rig. It's on, Farhan. It's on. We'll talk about that. Get into the Warriors next. Alan Stiles, Danville.
Do you have neuropathy? Are you experiencing numbness, tingling, and pain that just won't stop? Are you taking dangerous drugs that have serious side effects and never fix the pain? If so, please listen to this message. Neuropathy is a serious, progressive condition that only gets worse if not treated properly. Call SF Bay Wellness at 844-94-NERVE to get back to doing the things you want to do. There is no drug, exercise, or surgery that can heal nerves. Don't wait until your condition gets worse and stops you from living your life fully. SF Bay Wellness has a time-tested, proven track record of helping hundreds of patients to improve and reverse their neuropathy. If you're ready to regain your independence, contact SF Bay Wellness at 844-94-NERVE. Call now for your $99 neuropathy special and receive a personal treatment plan that is tailored to your needs. Call 844-94-NERVE. That's 844-94-NERVE and start to enjoy life again.
Fremont Bank. If there's one thing we understand more than anybody, it's that it takes a local bank to really get the needs of local businesses. Fremont Bank has the flexibility and motivation to service your business loan needs like other banks can't or won't. With our full suite of business loan products and recognition as a top SBA lender in the Bay Area, Fremont Bank is the right choice for local and family-owned businesses. Fremont Bank. Learn more at fremontbank.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out. Go to getrbawindows.com for full offer details.
Homeowners, do you know when it's time to replace your windows? Feeling too hot or cold? It's time to replace. Can't see through fog between the glass? Time to replace. Spending too much on expensive energy that literally goes out the window? It's definitely time to replace. If you've been putting off replacing windows in your home because it's too expensive, here's great news. You can now get a free in-home window consultation and free price quote from Renewal by Andersen, the company with the most 5-star reviews among among leading full-service window replacement companies. And this month only, you can buy one and get one 50% off when you purchase 4 units. Just text WINDOW to 323232 right now for your free consultation on top-quality affordable windows or even patio doors for $0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for an entire year. That's right, you don't pay a dime for an entire year. Plus, buy one and get one 50% off. But hurry, this offer won't last long. Text WINDOW to 323232 right now. Don't go into winter with drafty windows. Text the word WINDOW to 323232. Don't wait. Text WINDOW to 323232.
Get a cash offer for your car, truck, or SUV today at your local Bay Area Chevy dealers. Selling has never been easier. Just bring it into a Bay Area Chevy dealer, get a free appraisal, and we'll make you a cash offer on the spot with no obligation to buy. We buy any make or model, paid off or not. Find your local Chevy dealer at BayAreaChevroletDealers.com.
Attention! Did you or a loved one live at or near Marine Base Camp Lejeune in North Carolina between 1953 and 1987? If so, listen closely for this important legal announcement. From 1953 to 1987, Marines and their family members at Camp Lejeune drank water that was contaminated with hazardous toxins. The toxins found in the water at Camp Lejeune may cause health issues, especially later in life. Types of health issues associated with water at Camp Lejeune are numerous. If you or a loved one lived near Camp Lejeune between 1953 and 1987, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation without going to court. Even if you were turned down in the past, a new law can allow you to file a claim today. If you or a loved one spent time near Camp Lejeune, call the Negligence Network to find out if you're eligible for financial compensation. There's no fee unless we win your case. Call 1-800-700-4333. That's 1-800-700-4333. 1-800-700-4333.
Are you interested in new career opportunities in the Bay Area and want to make a difference in your community? The SF Sheriff's Office is looking for people considering a job in law enforcement right now. If you're at least 20 years or older with a high school diploma or equivalent, the SF Sheriff's Office wants to hear from you. Enjoy full benefits, flexible schedules, and opportunities for growth and promotion. For employment announcements and more information, visit sfsheriff.com. That's sfsheriff.com to apply today.
We're on a journey to make healthcare more accessible and more equitable, to treat the most complex diseases and offer hope where often there is little, to provide better care to more people across the Bay Area. We are more than a hospital, more than a university, beyond science and technology. We are the people of UCSF. UCSF Health, redefining possible.
Kirby is your driveway mechanic. They bring the shop to you with brake replacements, oil changes, washes, and so much more. Get $50 off your first oil change with code OIL50 at Kirby.com. That's CURBEE.com and use code OIL50.
Jamie's log. Progressive. The Harrington's backyard. Day 11, 4:43 a.m. The tent I set up in the Harrington's backyard to prove Progressive has 24/7 protection has a rip in it. But a little rain won't stop me. Mrs. Harrington says she totally understands 24/7 protection means 24/7. Gonna stay a few more days to make sure. It's hailing now. That's fun.
Progressive doesn't just offer a great price when you bundle home and auto. We offer round-the-clock protection. Just not literally from Jamie. Coverage from Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers and subject to policy terms. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
Navien tankless water heaters, the proven leader in condensing technology. Request a Navien because you deserve the best in endless hot water delivery. Learn about Navien's condensing tankless water heaters and find a Navien contractor at tanklessmadesimple.com.
Count on Navien.
Muse is bringing their Will of the People World Tour to the Oakland Arena on April 14th, 2023. And 95.7 The Game has your shot at tickets. Enter to win now at 957thegame.com/contests.
Now back to 95.7 The Game.
Alan Stiles, and it is Dan Devone here at 8:30 and 95.7 The Game. We're getting into a little Aaron Judge to the San Francisco Giants, potentially talk. We'll do that coming up. Also want to talk about the Warriors. Hang in there, Super D. We'll get to your phone call and the rest of the callers coming up in just a bit as we talk 49er football as well. But my man Cam behind the glass. Cam, as I understand it, your alma mater, Ignacio High, they had a football game, as a lot of high school teams do this time of the year, and they came up on the short end. Could you just repeat the score that your alma mater, the school you went to, and the school you played for, what was that final score? Was it 3-0, 10-3? What was it?
The final score is 84-0. Ignacio Valley lost to the College Park Falcons.
84-0. What the hell's going on over there at Ignacio Valley, Cam?
Honestly, I feel that our year in 2011, we were one of the last good teams. From what I remember, I think we went either 7-3 or 6-4. One of the most winning teams from back then. But now, I don't know what's going on with this next generation, but they seem to be losing a lot of games.
Likely story, Cam. Likely story.
84. How do you score 84 points?
Yeah, and the coach came out for Ignacio Valley and felt like it was disrespectful. College Park was taking pictures under the scoreboard. What do you? We can't do this. This is varsity, man. This is varsity. Because De La Salle, we were in the same conference as YV when I was there as well. And YV,
what's YV?
Ignacio Valley.
Oh, okay.
And they're right down the street, so we would literally walk to the games.
I don't talk, this suburb lingo. Go
East
ahead.
Bay, yeah. So we would literally walk to the games, and YV, they had some heats nowadays, but they were never, and they had some off years as well. But 84-0, I don't know. What do you talk about burning the tape?
Can I get a line on these games? Is there a betting line at Ignacio Valley? How many points do you guys give it up next week on whoever it is you're playing? Like 45?
Honestly, I don't know. That score is so embarrassing. I mean, I've seen some games where they've gotten blown out, but nothing ever like that. At least they're able to put up at least 3 touchdowns or something. They're able to score a little something, but never a full-on blowout like that.
What's the name of the Ignacio Valley what?
They used to be the Warriors, but now they're the Wolves.
I didn't know that. I didn't know you switched.
Yeah, it happened recently. It happened recently because everyone was trying to change the mascots. But when you think about the Warrior, it could be anybody or anything.
I see.
Well, with all due respect to the Golden State Warriors, I think that they're very happy that they got nothing to do with the team. They got smoked 84-0. All right, let's get back out to the phone line. Super D hanging out in San Francisco. Wanted to get back to Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers. What's up, Super D?
Hey. Shouts out to Jefferson High. Ooh.
There you go.
Templeton. I don't think, the Niners aren't bad. We've got a Deebo Samuel. We've got a George Kittle. We've got a Brandon Ayuk. We've got a Kyle Shanahan and a Jimmy Garoppolo running the West Coast offense. We're not bad. The first, what I see is the first drive. Shanahan, Jimmy Garoppolo, and the guys, they put together a masterful, scripted first drive, just like how it's supposed to go. When they get punched in the mouth, and you're looking at a 3rd and 5, 3rd and 7, Shanahan doesn't have anything in his bag. You're looking at a first and 20. Shanahan's got nothing for it. When it's situational red zone, I think that the points where we're weak at is red zone and situational football. And it's good we got punched in the mouth right at the beginning. In the beginning of the season, because playoff time comes, we're gonna have to tighten it up. They will, but they get fancy and they get lazy when things work, and they're not that damn good. But that's my 2 cents, man. I'm out.
That might be one of the best calls we've had in recent memory.
To the point.
I couldn't agree with him right. I couldn't agree with him more. I think that he's good those first 25 plays that are scripted and get down the field, but once it becomes situational, or once it becomes 3rd and long, or once it becomes you're trailing by 2 scores and you got less than 10 minutes to go, we've got to do something different. He seems to be a little limited.
Yeah.
Or the offense doesn't have the same sort of depth and or efficiency like that of the beginning of the game and an opening drive.
Yeah, the same way that naysayers will talk about the Ravens, how everything has to be going well for Lamar Jackson to get that running game going. He can't play from behind. I feel like the same thing is similar with Kyle Shanahan. It's almost as if he is the best, that offensive genius, he is the best offensive coach on script and one of the worst coaches off script in the NFL. And you can't be that polar opposite. It's got to be in the middle. To some degree, you gotta be able to be versatile, and as soon as things get off routine or off script, he's cooked. He's cooked.
Do they have the ability And it seems as though anybody that's considered, I mean, they're in that NFC conversation of being one of the best in the NFC. And to not have big play opportunities or a big play tandem or players or at least plays aside from, here comes Danny Gray. I wonder what's going to happen. I can't help but laugh. And then he jumps off sides and they're like, it's all right, get back.
You know what it is? Back when, when I was younger on the teams and you're trying to get playing time. So I was pinch runner because I could steal bases.
Yeah.
Right? It's when I come into pitch run.
Pitch out.
Right. When I come into pinch run in the bottom of the ninth for our first baseman or our big DH, and everybody in the ballpark knows we should probably look for the steal here. He hasn't played the whole game, and now he's here, and it's a tie ball game or we're down 1 run. Everybody in the ballpark knows I'm going to steal. Danny Gray, he literally has one job. And it's crazy because, yeah, he's a burner, but it's not as if every other offense has this one burner, right? They find ways to you can stretch the field without having an Olympic sprinter.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be Danny Gray.
Yeah. How fast is Marcus Valdez-Scantling?
Right.
So, to your point, yeah, it's just about reading defenses, having the appropriate play, whether it's a stop and go and recognizing that your corners are creeping up and they're biting on routes and that you want to get behind them. So you set them up, as you see a lot of coaches do, setting up DBs for something later in the game when you want to go, you want to throw it behind them and get it down the field. There's not a lot of that with the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers are who they are. And it doesn't appear as though it's going to change. If it didn't change against Atlanta when you were down 2 scores and you dinked and dunked to midfield and it took you 2.5 hours and then you turned it over on downs, what makes you think you're going to change against Kansas City, which they did not. But you would think at some point that this is going to come back. And I don't think this is the last time. Maybe they go on a run and they win 3 or 4 games in a row. But I do think that this is going to resurface, this conversation of being able to score a lot of points in a little amount of time. And so we'll have to wait and see for the San Francisco 49ers. If you want to call us, 888-957-9570. We'll open up the doors for the 49ers all night long. Just really quick, wanted to work in the Aaron Judge sweepstakes, which are now officially on. Aaron Judge, come on home, baby. Come on home. Or do we even want him? Do you want Aaron Judge?
I do. Does it worry me what he does or what he doesn't do in the playoffs? He might have had 2 home runs. I know he had at least 1. Maybe he had 2. But he strikes out a ton. I don't know if it's, how people talk about our team is built for the playoffs. The Yankees as a whole seem to be the opposite, right? When you're everyone faces high velocity, but all right, we know we're going to face you. I think the Yankees' problem, and you play series during the season, obviously, but the Yankees' problem is just the pitching just gets to know exactly what they want to do. And when you're facing better pitching and they're just not, we are not giving into you because they weren't walking. I mean, Aaron Judge got walked, but this wasn't like the end of the season when nobody wanted to give up the home run to break the record. They were going at Aaron Judge, and he just couldn't hang. You can't say no to him if you're a San Francisco Giants fan. You really can't. The only way you can't is if I'm guaranteed to have, like we've talked about before, you like Brandon Nimmo. Give me a Nimmo, give me a Correa, give me a Benintendi, a package of those guys. But if you're not going to get that package, just give me Aaron Judge so I can get my 99 jersey and go to Oracle and see him.
That has a lot to do with it.
Right.
That has a lot to do with it. Don't be dismissive when you talk about the merch and getting someone that you're going to pay to go see. Because who are you going to go pay right now? Wilmer Flores? No knock against Flores. He was our most consistent player.
When I went to maybe 2 or 3 games this season. Most of the time you're seeing throwback jerseys, right? The only... Maybe I saw a Yastrzemski jersey. He's been on the team a little bit. And I saw some Jock Peterson jerseys, with just bizarre buy, but do your thing. He was an all-star. Besides that, I don't know. Right now, and people don't typically buy pitchers jerseys, but you can buy Logan Webb. I didn't see any Logan Webb jerseys, but you could purchase them. And then you have the guys
Why would you buy a Logan Webb jersey? I know he's good, but the dude is like watching the gate rust.
I guess if we're going by technically... They were active, so it would be... I guess we're talking about besides Crawford and Belt. You got to take them out of it.
Well, that's just it. They need a shot in the arm. and they need somebody who's worth just going and looking at Paul Bunyan and saying, wow, look at the size of that guy.
Yeah.
Take a pic. They need an awe factor, man. That thing is so boring. It's okay if you win 107 games and you're doing it with just, the storyline was cute a year ago. Nobody wanted these guys. They don't have a lot of personality. We do it a different way. We pinch hit and we play the percentages, lefty, righty. These are all discarded misfits, but they found a home here, and we won 107 and held off the mighty Los Angeles Dodgers. But then when you suck this year, and you're not good on the field, and then there's no reason to go out and actually watch a team play baseball. I mean, I can remember back in the day when the Mariners and things started to settle down there. At least you'd go pay to see Ichiro just run around the bases and do his thing. There is no star attraction with that Giant team, which is one of the reasons why you want Aaron Judge. But if you do get Aaron Judge, again, with all the money coming off the books and that you have available to you, it shouldn't stop there.
Yeah.
There's no reason why you don't make a play for Trey Turner. In fact, if they come home with Aaron Judge, I say to Mr. Nerd I pack his lunch again, and I say, here are your bifocals, and here's your pocket square protector. Now get back out there. This time go to L.A., and I want you to stock Trey Turner, and don't come home unless you bring him back.
I might not waste my time on Trey Turner. I mean, no. I love Trey Turner, but it is.
Oh, you don't think he's going?
It is pretty. He went to NC State. It is pretty well known he wants to go back east. At least that's what people are saying. Now, he might like green more than he likes the East Coast, so you can price him out of him wanting to be on the East Coast. But that's what I've heard. Carlos Correa, I believe he had an option that he can opt out of. I know he's hot and cold, but he's another guy. Playoffs, he does the opposite of the Yankees. He is a bit he reminds me of Madison Bumgarner. Madison Bumgarner never had elite outstanding numbers during the regular season, but the postseason he was a different beast. Carlos Correa in the postseason has been a different beast. So if you can get him, I would go after it. I would at least give a call to Trey Turner, but from what I've been hearing, he wants to go back east. But Judge ain't enough.
650, I had a Lincecum jerseys. We're the Lincecums of the world. That's the one thing with Bochy is that it's funny because Bochy was not very exciting guy, right? He was just this droll, it was Boch.
Newest Texas Rangers manager.
Yes, shout out to Bochy going back into it at age 67 as a manager of the Texas Rangers. He's a pup compared to Tony La Russa, if you think about it. But you had Bochy, and then you had all of these serious characters, and they happen to be really good. And I think part of it's by design because Kapler has said that he does not want to get too high, doesn't want to get too low, but just guys who are essentially who's playing for him now. The Slaters of the world and all these guys that are just, I can't distinguish one from the next, man. It's like being in Utah. Sorry, Utah. Sorry, that's a bad shot at Utah. It's like being in, I spent time I was going to say, I'll just leave all this alone.
Yeah, just make up a place. A really boring place.
Sometimes it's just very homogenous. Everybody looks like everybody else. They say this about the Pacific Northwest. Sometimes it's just like all you guys look the same. You're
still doing regions now.
I can't help it. That's the only place I know is just to attack people. But you need some star power. You need a reason to go out and pay money to watch these dudes.
I did think of you. I know their season's done now, and I know they're also in the same division, the NL West. But what a scene in San Diego, man. You're always getting on Oracle Park for being stale and the same things that they've been doing in the seventh inning. And we get all. I know in the playoffs everything gets ratcheted up, but the San Diego Padres, they got a scene out there, man. I want to go out there and watch a game next year. It looks like a lot of fun.
It's cool.
And the Giants, me and my wife went to one of the last games. We went to a day game. We went and we got we finally got the crab sandwich. Sure, it was good. It was good.
Did you have to take another mortgage out on the house?
Pretty much.
How much are those things? Are they more than $20?
I don't think it was more than 20. I think it was about 15, maybe 16. Obviously I was still hungry after.
Sorry to interrupt and I digress, but I had a burrito, man. A full super burrito.
From where?
$18. Ugh. 18 scahoots for a Camarones burrito. My goodness, man, I haven't had one of those things, and I was feeling a little lightheaded after swimming. I'm like, you know what? Enough of this. I need some protein and some carbs.
Yeah.
I'm going super burrito. That was 2 days ago. I haven't eaten since.
There's no way you ate it all in one sitting.
Yeah, I did. It was,
Wow.
Man, that thing hits. Wow. There is nothing like a good burrito.
Where was it
done
from?
well. Someplace on Clement Street. Something Taqueria Mayas, I think.
Okay. All right. Good for you. I'm proud of you.
But I'm seriously, I fasted for a day after.
I don't doubt it.
It wasn't on purpose. I just wasn't hungry, man. That thing was. But since when to a burrito? What happened to El Faro? You know, back in the 90s, you can get one of those things for $5. 20 scahoots for a burrito? What the hell's going on?
I'll do you one better. So this place, and I love this place since its inception, Senor Sisig. So it's a Filipino. So
it's a food truck.
Guy Fieri went there and it blew up. I've never seen this before, Dan. I've never seen this before.
That's not a burrito necessarily.
It is, but it's Filipino fusion burrito.
Yeah, okay.
I've never seen, and it wasn't like this when it first started. So it says Senor Sisig burrito, and then it says whatever, 13.50, whatever the case is, right? And then in the normal writing, on the menu, it says pork, chicken, and then all the fixings that you want. They wrote, this is just, I don't know when it started. They wrote under it, they didn't even make the new menu yet. They wrote under the $13.50 plus $2 for pork, plus $1 for chicken. So I'm sitting there thinking, so $13.50 for a veggie burrito?
Yeah.
So basically inflation hit. They weren't able to, or hey, price tag gone up, we're popping now, Guy Fieri. They didn't change the menu. So the menu reads, when you see plus $2, that's like a Caesar salad and you want chicken, right? Plus $2 for chicken. It doesn't say Senor Sisig veggie burrito. It says, do you want pork or chicken? Then they added it on the side, plus $2 for pork, plus $1 for chicken. I still got it, but I almost asked the guy, and you want to leave these people alone. I almost asked the guy, so what is $13.50, a veggie burrito? But it's not his fault, right? He has nothing to do with it, but it was ridiculous.
No, I'm
out
with
of
you.
style.
I had to pay an additional $3 for my camarones, my shrimp.
Well, that's expected, though.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. What's up, Cam? What are you flexing for? Did Ignacio finally score?
No, they didn't score, but the ladies used to call me Senor Camarones. Because, Cameron is shrimp in Spanish, but I always say Camarones Grande,
All right, we'll keep that right where it is, man. Camarones Grande. All right.
Wow.
That's your new name, Camarones.
Mm-hmm.
Senor Camarones. All right, thank you very much, Cam. Once again, played for a team that got beat 84-0 this past Friday. Was it a Friday or a Saturday? It's forgettable, I'm sure. But yeah, the text line's going, think about the damage you could do with $20 at Taco Bell. Can you these days at Taco Bell with $20? Are you still?
Yeah, ask Chuck. I mean, he destroys that.
All right. Well, I think that the San Francisco Giants, I just want to put an end to this, that now that he's a free man, that you got to make a serious play to bring my man Aaron Judge back to the Bay Area. And I think the fact that he didn't sign and the fact that he held out, there is a good chance that he wants to test the waters. And if he's testing the waters, if it's about quality of life and why we want to sort of try and add things up here when we have no idea what's in his head, but it would make logistical sense that the Giants should be in play. They have the money. He's from these parts. He didn't resign during the season. He's a star. They need a star. He's an outfielder. They need an outfielder. So let's just put these two together.
Yeah.
I feel like the car salesman. Like, what do I have to do to put you in this car?
The word on the street is, because Cohen is like the new Steve Ballmer, right, for the Mets. The word on the street is the Mets are going to throw the bag at Aaron Judge. But if you're going to leave New York, would you really go to the Mets?
No, I don't think that's...
You'd either stay, and people are saying they don't even know if the Yankees are going to offer him because they have just terrible numbers right now in terms of who they have to pay. But if you're going to stay in New York, you're not going to go to the Yankees. He might be better. It's more realistic for him to go to the Red Sox than the Mets.
Yeah, he just doesn't strike me as an East Coast kind of guy, but what do I know? Don't know the dude at all, never spoken to the guy, but you're right. That's like going from the Lakers to the Clippers. Like
right.
If you're a really good player, there's some things you just don't do.
Although you just leave LA. You just leave LA.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the Mets are really good. They blew it this year.
I know, but here's the thing about New York. when it comes to the Mets and the Yankees. The Yankees, first of all, are the iconic brand, and they play in New York. The players live in New York. They're all on the Upper East, or they can be in Connecticut, but they're doing the New York thing. The Mets are out in Queens. Nothing against Queens, but you've ever watched Seinfeld? That's where Costanza's parents live. Like it's Queens, and you're not going across the bridge. You're not getting out to the boroughs necessarily. If you're in New York, and if you're not with the Yankees, then you're going home. You don't leave it to go live in Queens. Nobody does that.
707 is chiming in. I saw this as well. Came out today. The Dodgers apparently are going to go hard for Judge because why wouldn't they? I guess if that were to happen, Mookie Betts has played a decent amount of second base. You move Mookie, who has gold gloves in right field, but I believe Aaron Judge does as well. You move Mookie Betts to second base.
Mookie Betts plays second base? That'd be weird.
He's played it a couple times.
I know, but that's...
Yeah. I mean, it feels like a waste, right?
Why don't you just get rid of Cody Bellinger?
Right.
Can someone explain to me what happened to him? He went from MVP in his early 20s.
The book wasn't out yet. I'll tell you what happened to him. As he is the definition of the three true outcomes, but to the nth degree.
Wow.
He does not make an adjustment for anything. For anything. He refuses to make adjustments. His swing, you talk about Lincecum and a lot of reasons.
That buggy whip.
Yeah, people were afraid of Lincecum because of how violent. He was also a little bit undersized, how violent his windup was. Cody Bellinger, his swing. I mean, you can't swing like that forever, Playboy. Yeah. Like, you can't do that. He continues to do it. The book is out on him. He's made no adjustments. I don't know what type of contract he has with the Dodgers. It doesn't really matter unless someone just thinks that he can, they can give him another shot and revamp it. But the Dodgers, everybody else can hit. I mean, Max Muncy had a down year. But if you are just being stubborn, and I mean, there'd be days, Dan, where if I'm rolling over, the coach will come to you, and I don't know if they do this anymore with the three true outcomes. The coach will come to you and say, I don't care where this pitch is pitched next time you're up, you need to hit the ball to left field. Because I was left-handed as well. You need to find a way to hit the ball to the left of second base. I don't care if they're jamming you inside. I'd rather you break your bat than roll over to second base again. Just to put it in your mind. And I'm sure if they're saying that at Temple University or at De La Salle High School, they're saying the same things in the major leagues, and Cody Bellinger is just refusing to listen.
Could be. And it could be Atlantic. I've just never seen a guy that, I mean, you're talking about a couple of months. He went from like ridiculous crooked numbers in an MVP to now a guy that hits right around 200 every year.
Yeah.
And the home runs and the power are gone. And they mentioned his shoulder surgery or shoulder injury. That was like 2 years ago. Maybe.
But he's swinging the same, so he's going to probably hurt it again.
All right, when we come back, I want to get into the Golden State Warriors. Before we do that, you want to tease your trade really quick?
So there's a trade.
There is no trade.
There's a
this
trade
is a trade in your head.
Right. This is the end of the year. Would you do this trade? It's for a guy who used to play in the Bay Area. He still plays in the NFL.
No, just go ahead and say it, and then we'll get the reaction when we come back.
The trade is, if things go south at the end of this season, Jimmy Garoppolo, I don't know what happens with Jimmy in terms of who's interested. Trey Lance, maybe you get a couple picks. I don't know where the value is. Trey Lance, some version of Trey Lance for Derek Carr.
You're out of your mind.
At the end of the season.
You are completely out of your mind. But we will talk about it. We'll get my man, Alan Stiles, some serious therapeutic help. We come back to talk about a trade that involves Trey Lance going to the Raiders for Derek Carr. You biting? 888-957-9570. We'll talk about that and also get into the Golden State Warriors, a victory over Sacramento we discuss next.
You can't get much for $5 these days. Unless you go to Wendy's for a $5 Biggie Bag. Get your choice of double stack, junior bacon cheeseburger, or crispy chicken BLT. Plus 4-piece nugs, fries, and a drink. All for just $5.
You got that bag. You got that Biggie Bag. You got that bag.
That was smooth, wasn't it? That's how you're going to feel when you get that biggie bag at Wendy's.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Includes 4-piece nuggets, small soft drink, and small fry. Prices may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii.
Tune in to 95.7 The Game for Warriors Live. 90 minutes before tip-off of every Warriors game. Brought to you by Xfinity Sports Zone, the ultimate hub for everything sports. With live games, shows, news, and highlights all in one place. Only with Xfinity X1.
Elise and Carl's Bakery needed a small business loan fast, but instead of going to On Deck, Carl called
Lone Falcon! Really? Carl?
There's a better way to get a fast small business loan. Go to OnDeck.com. And if approved, get your loan as soon as the same day. Your loan is on deck. Depending on certain loan attributes, your business loan may be issued by OnDeck or Celtic Bank, a Utah Chartered Industrial Bank member FDIC. Limited eligibility for same-day funding. OnDeck does not lend in every state. All loans subject to lender approval.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-200-1966. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-200-1966. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-200-1966. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too. Call 800-200-1966. 800-200-1966.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids. 1-877 Cards for Kids. Donate your card today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. You'll get a maximum tax deduction and a vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
When back to the office means back in traffic,
We unfortunately have a really bad situation going on in Hayward.
you can rely on your Northern California Honda Dealers Traffic Center.
Traffic is still jammed from Whipple, but I can see it starting to improve now that you have...
From your traffic leader, KCBS.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required. Refund available for 60 days after purchase.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/joy. You'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the biggest brands at 90% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but 90% cheaper. It's the same medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. Results are guaranteed or your money back. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/joy. That's 4hims.com/joy for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/JOY.
Navien tankless water heaters, the proven leader in condensing technology. Request a Navien because you deserve the best in endless hot water delivery. Learn about Navien's condensing tankless water heaters and find a Navien contractor at tanklessmadesimple.com.
Count on Navien.
Football season is here. The new Odyssey app lets you stay connected to your NFL team, your station, your shows. Follow your favorite stations and come back again and again. Get real-time updates on everything you care about. Miss your show? Jump back to their awesome rewind feature. The Odyssey app is NFL football. Live and on demand. Wherever you are, whenever you want. And did we mention it's all free? Download the Odyssey app today.
The award-winning documentary Beyond Homeless, Finding Hope offers real hope for transforming homelessness in San Francisco. Watch at beyondhomeless.org.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMC FM and HD1 San Francisco. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Now back to 95.7 The Game.
Once again, Senor Cameroni's going back to just the random Will Smith, getting jiggy with it back in the day. What's up with you and Will, Cam? Just your guy?
It's just, I don't know, the song now, for some reason, it feels extra funky. And I know Will's getting back into the limelight soon, so I might as well just keep playing that.
Yeah, that was Will pre-rage. That was the nice Will. Yeah.
You think he'll come back?
He's dropped a movie recently, right?
One is coming out.
Yeah, what is that movie
he's a slave, I think.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I've never seen a Will Smith movie that has been more sort of underplayed or least.
Yeah, well, that's true too.
Sort of advertised.
Yeah, I think it only has one word. I forget the name of it, but I just recently saw it because everybody was saying, "Oh wow, he's back." So I think it might be based on a true story, but he's trying to make a return. I mean, he lost some things, I'm sure, but time heals all wounds and bruises. If you're Chris Rock's face.
Yeah, that's one of those that's going to take a little while. He'll never. You know what? It's sort of, just to make this segue in the transition into the Warriors. Right. It's very similar to Draymond Green. It'll never be the same when it comes to your man, Will Smith. Never be the same.
Emancipation. It says 2022. It might already be out. Yeah. But the release date December 9th. So Emancipation.
Oh, wow. Okay, so it will ramp up in terms of...
Yeah, Peter, a slave, flees a plantation in Louisiana after he was whipped within an inch of his life. He has to outwit cold-blooded hunters and the unforgiving swamps of Louisiana on a torturous journey north. That is
that
Will
true
Smith.
Story?
Doesn't say it right here, but feels like it. So we'll see. We'll see how it does.
You know what I mean? It has that same air that when you hit somebody, when you punch somebody like that, Will Smith could walk into the room with the same people that have still got his back, but it's just going to be different. It's just, I can't explain it. You can't quantify it. You can't put your finger on it, but it's never the same. And it's never going to be the same with Draymond Green. Doesn't mean you won't win a championship. Doesn't mean that he can't be friendly with these guys or coexist, but it won't be the same. And there's a high level of awkwardness. I don't think it's over. I don't. I know a lot of people say, why continue to pick at this scab? Why not just go forward, put it in the rearview mirror? It'll never be completely gone as long as he's on that basketball team. It will always be awkward.
There are a couple things. Yeah, there are a couple things that I think people in general find hard to get over, right? And we are very forgiving people, I feel, at least for certain people. But the whole personal space, striking, right, albeit two completely different situations, but hitting another person, having that be caught on tape and people can see everything, it's tough. But Will Smith is a completely different case than the Warriors. To your point, nobody is saying, I think when people hear everyone talk about this, they think that we're saying it's going to affect the Warriors on the court. I don't really. I don't. Now they lost to the Nuggets. They go on to beat the Sacramento Kings, even though they almost choked that away. But I think when it comes down to it, the good thing is that this is a very long season, right? So I think eventually Jordan Poole they'll get to a point where they're cordial, they're cool. Hey, we both know we have a job to do. They'll never be as cool. I don't think so. Maybe they can get to it. It'll take a couple years. But in terms of basketball, I don't think it'll affect anything on the basketball court past the first 50 games, maybe 30 games.
But again, we just don't know. It's so unprecedented. I said this the other day, and I was on before the game on Saturday. I just get the sense that if he ever did leave if you got, let's just say for the sake of this conversation, he left tomorrow. And let's just say they shocked the world and traded him. They got some good value back, and the Warriors sent him packing. I would, while the team may not be as good, because let's face it, he is what I saw of him against it was Denver. Man, he's still vital to the success of that team. I just can't help but believe that maybe not every one of those players, but the majority of the players, especially the younger players, there would be this sense of exhale, like, oh, I can breathe. Like I'm kind of glad he's gone. Like there's going to be a sense of freedom. There's a sense of like the big bad wolf isn't in the room. There's going to be smiles. It's just this. It's weird. It's just like there's just a sense of a dark cloud now that's in that room, and it's palpable. Again, maybe not preventing your team from winning a title, but it's there, man. And until he's removed, I don't think it's going to be completely relaxed or jovial or just personalities coming to light. I just think all of that is just muted, and it's tempered to a certain degree because of that ugly incident.
It's still early. I just think because of how long the season is, 20 games, you spend so much time together, these guys do. And you get to game 20, game 30, game 40. It won't get swept under the rug. I think Jordan Poole will never look at him the same. But as far as, I don't know, as far as a whole, we're so glad, maybe, but I just think it's still early for that.
Well, I think even if I got that sense even before he punched Poole. I just think that there's a lot of guys that just would rather not have him in the room, man. I just think that they look over their shoulder. They know that he likes to chew butt, and he's good at it. And I just, just my 2 cents in all of that. But getting back to last night's game, the thing that jumps out should be clear to everybody. It's not, listen, the core is the core. Draymond's minutes will continue to increase. Same with Klay Thompson gradually. They're getting more playing time, more run. You can see the rust coming off. They're going to be who they are. Mm-hmm. It's that second unit, which I don't even know what it is, and I don't think Steve Kerr knows what the hell it is right now.
No.
We don't know combinations, and there's really nothing to sort of rely on right now. There's no real leader. Andre Iguodala, I don't know if he's ever playing basketball again.
He's going with them on the trip, but he will not be playing.
No, that's going to be a common theme, but it's just, at least last year, although Otto Porter and Bielitsa were new to the team, they were veterans, and you knew in GP2 sort of early who you were going to rely on, what the combination was or how it was going to work out. It took a while. Mm-hmm. But I don't know who the go-to guys are in the second unit. There's potential. I mean, there's a lot of young potential when you talk about Kuminga and Moody and even Jordan Poole has got to do it, to me, at least more than a year. I know he got all the money. I know he's been in the league for
14 points from Wiseman last night.
Yeah, is he going to be somebody you rely on? I mean, who is it that every night, who's your Livingston, who's your Barbosa, who are those guys that have always, I mean, the second unit has always been such a key to the overall success of the team.
Jordan Poole, James Wiseman, some version of Moses Moody. Dante DiVincenzo just went out, actually, with a hamstring injury. Ty Jerome has been brought up. JaMychal Green for sure. So I'm looking at James Wiseman, Moses Moody, JaMychal Green, Jordan Poole, and I don't know who the fifth is. Could be Kuminga. Could be DiVincenzo.
Oh, Dante.
But DiVincenzo's out right now, so some combination of that, but I guess the obvious one I'm not saying is it would be Jordan Poole 1, Wiseman 2, Moses Moody 3, JaMychal Green 4, and either Dante DiVincenzo, which we already kind of knew, or Jonathan Kuminga.
Yeah, but you see what you're doing here? I mean, you're already anointing James Wiseman as somebody that you're going to rely on for the second unit for the remainder of the season. Talking about it's a long year. I mean, are you sure you're going to get the 14 every night? You know what I mean?
Well, no.
It's very dicey when you're talking about kids with a high ceiling. Well, one night they can be really good, then there's going to be nights where they're like completely over their head.
But how often are we going to see the second unit just be strictly the 5, though? I feel like that we don't see that very often. There's going to be one starter in with the second unit most of the time. You don't see all 5.
Well, No, but you see a variation thereof because Clay and Steph, and they all need their minutes, right? They all need their rest, especially the older they get, right? There's a certain time they come out of the quarter, and then there's a time when they come back, and then they
stagger it.
They stagger it, but still, you're reliant on a combination. Maybe not all five.
Yes,
you're relying on a combination thereof. And so again, if you want to rely on James Wiseman giving you, 14 points. Sure.
Well, no, you cannot rely on that. I'm just saying he had a good day last night.
Yeah. I think James Wiseman he's surprising me. He really is. He still gets a little gangly and has no idea defensively. Sort of looks confused from time to time, but offensively, wow. He's just simplified everything. And you can see it's slowing down for him.
Where are you at with your guy?
Here's where I'm at with Kuminga. Kuminga this is why I'm so big on this guy and why I think he's still going to have a breakout year. Okay. Mark it down. Lock it up. Write it down on the wall.
Right next to your Jimmy take.
What was that?
Somebody will say, throw Jimmy in the MVP conversation.
There will be Jimmy G MVP conversation. Not from me, but you will hear it at some point. Somebody will say it on the national level.
We got to cut that.
Oh, well, you don't have to cut it, Camarones. It's going to happen. But here's the thing about Jonathan Kuminga. He's I have a sense that this is my overall take on him. I think that this guy is so raw and good that he feels as though when the ball's in his hand, he can go rim to rim like Giannis right now. But he puts on the brakes because he's like, I can't. I got to get other people involved. I've got to stay in my lane.
Run the offense.
I got to buy in to the process. Otherwise, I'm going to be sitting again. I think he's going to get to the point where it's just going to be the hell with this, and they're going to take the chains off, and he's going to go nuts. You can see it. He gets deep into the paint, and then suddenly he's just like, oh, where are guys? There's nothing wrong with him. It's just a matter of him growing up a little bit and finding his niche and then letting him grow, and eventually he will take over. He will be more impactful than Jordan Poole, more impactful than Weissman, any of those guys.
Dan.
Yes, sir.
You're doing a lot right now. Jordan Poole. I mean, James Wiseman, we have no clue. But I haven't seen any growth from Kuminga.
No, that's fair.
He's he's athletic. He's really athletic.
That's
fair.
Know
what else? The league is athletic.
Yeah.
And we've seen he has to get to a point, and I see all the videos of him working on his jump shots. You call him Giannis. I do think he's a bit of baby Giannis. The problem with that comparison is that what is the knock on Giannis? He's got no quote unquote bag. His offensive moves are lacking. He does, he's not going to dance on you. He doesn't have to because he's Giannis. Kuminga is in that same category, but he's not Giannis. So, and he doesn't have to be Giannis yet. But I have to see a bigger jump, and my fear is that he's not going to get the jump because this team, I don't know where. Sometimes you look around, I have no clue where he's going to get the minutes to get better.
He will, because I think that Steve Kerr sees what I see. He recognizes talent. Sometimes there's guys that just jump out at you, and everything you said is fair and true. That he hasn't made the leap forward that we would think we would see from his freshman to his sophomore year in the NBA. But it's coming. I guarantee you it is a coming. That train is coming down the track. He just needs to hone some things in, and then he's going to go. At some point, they're going to green light this guy, and it is going to be game over. I really do believe that. He is dynamic. There are players that are talented, and then there are guys that have a wow factor. He has a wow factor. And you're talking about working on because this is when you got to put the work in. And Jordan Poole, why I think he's sort of the leader of that younger group, because they look at him and they say, first of all, ooh, you got paid. Now you got street cred. You got cred now, bro. Right. You're not just another player. You're a dude I'll listen to. Because he got paid, so now he's got some credibility behind his name. But the work ethic, he essentially can say, do it like me, man. All right? You haven't done anything yet, Kuminga. Moody, as much as we've talked about you and all the ceiling talk, you haven't done anything either. You guys have got to work your tail off in the early portions of your season. You've done nothing unless you continue to work and work harder yesterday than you will tomorrow. Or work harder tomorrow than you did yesterday. My one thing about Jordan Poole, though, as much as we talk about the work ethic, I'm not trying to be cute here, but just explain this to me. He works so hard on his game, right?
Right.
Why did he work on his defense? Why did that get omitted? No, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, this incredible work ethic. We always talk about it, but the defense is always, his defense is suspect. He's not a good defense. Well, he works harder than anybody.
Isn't it harder to work on your defense?
Not really.
Okay, you can shoot after practice is over as much as you want. You're going to, I don't know, you ask an intern, hey, can I guard you?
You get better there's guys that improve defensively. My point is, if you've got a work ethic to improve your overall game, it just seems
maybe he is, but no, that stuff doesn't go on social media. Well, maybe he is.
Steve Kerr, I'll go off of Steve Kerr, who knows him better than I do, says his defense has still got to get better. But the rapid growth, it's funny. It's all offense, but the defense stays in the basement floor.
But I think also the other thing is we don't necessarily know. It's hard to pinpoint what part of his defense is actually bad, right? He's got everything that he does well offensively translates to defense. Great lateral movement. He's quick. So I don't know what there's to work out besides just try harder.
It's just mental. You know what it is? It's just he doesn't like to play defense. Listen, you've played pickup basketball. There's some guys who just can't buy in. They just defense. You're right. Unlike offense, defense to me has always been DNA. That's want to, especially when it comes to the NFL.
People say it's effort.
Yeah, there's guys that just want to play defense. It's a DNA thing. Teaching defense is really, really difficult. That's something either you have or you don't have. LaMelo Ball is the same way. LaMelo Ball looks so. Just focus on him in a game one day. No one could be more disinterested playing defense. And the same to Jordan Poole to a certain degree.
I was going to say John Moran as well. All these young guys, Luka, all these young guys, they're gifted offensively. The defense comes around a little later because it has to. Hey, you're getting cooked. All right, you're putting up 25, but you're letting in 25. You got to fix that.
Or they recognize
James Harden early in his career, Steph Curry early in his career. So it'll come. It'll come. I would rather it be that way than the other way around. You got a great defender. Okay, cool. Right? You need scoring.
But it's interesting because LaMelo Ball is the same way, is that they're sort of in this malaise defensively and going through the motions and sort of moving their feet, or when they got to be on the ball, they're a little, they're attentive. But then the minute the rebound comes and they get the ball in their hand, all of a sudden, it's a different energy.
That's probably what he said to Draymond. I don't get paid to play defense. You get paid to play defense.
That's true. Now, you know what ignited that fight? I'm thoroughly convinced of this. Is that Draymond apparently had a bad day, but he just can't get through to Jordan Poole. That's what Draymond does. He gets under people's skin. That's who he is in the NBA. He's one of those guys that can get in somebody's head. He talks, and he talks well. He's a trash talker and a good one. Mm-hmm. Just looking at that video, I don't think, because it wasn't of any sort of serious variety. Otherwise, you would have seen other players in the video sort of like getting like, oh, this is heating up. I just think Jordan Poole is giving it right back to him. And I think the frustration, this is, we're like, I can't do anything. Like, I'm throwing some verbal darts at this dude, and he's just like, whatever, old man.
Yeah.
He can't penetrate.
And that just annoys you even more.
And then on top of that, whether you want to admit it or not, he's 10 years younger than you, and he's getting paid, and you are not. And then all you need is a shove, and that's enough.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Damian Lillard, I was listening to one of the podcasts he was on. Damian Lillard, it could have actually been on Draymond's, to be completely honest with you. But Damian Lillard was on a podcast, I believe it was while the Warriors were in the finals, and he was asked about Jordan Poole. And he said Jordan Poole said something slick to him after Damian Lillard has been a star in this league, and Jordan Poole was just now starting to get going here. This is before
his rookie year, I believe.
Right. This is before he has done anything. And Damian Lillard said he said some slick stuff to him that just made him think, who in the world is this kid? So I can only imagine, as I don't know, my parents or whoever said, he's got a quick mouth, right? And if whatever Draymond, for as good a trash talker as Draymond is, I think Jordan Poole is right up there, and Draymond had just had enough.
I'm glad you pointed that. I forgot all about that.
Yeah.
Forgot all about that.
He hadn't even done anything in the league yet.
But it's one of those, listen, Draymond, if you're going to talk the talk, you got to be able to take it, man. There's one thing of like trading verbal darts, but you can't go there. So we don't want to revisit any of that stuff. But I just got to give this shout out. You want another thing you can post onto the wall with all the predictions going down? By the way, I'm never wrong. Seriously, what am I batting? 1,000? Have I ever been wrong?
Remember when you said the Celtics were going to beat the Warriors?
Oh, that one.
You're still trying to work your way out of that hole.
Joey Bart. I mean, everything. Trey Lance.
Joey Bart turned it around.
No, he's garbage. But I told you that first month and a half, the dude is going to get sent down. But I'm telling you, you know what you want to keep an eye on? As much as, this PBJ may get some time, Patrick Baldwin Jr., I like him, by the way. He looks pretty good. But this dude, Ryan Rollins, Ryan Rollins is the baller. Ryan Rollins is just like the Kentucky Derby, starting at the end of the bench. Everybody else we're talking about, everybody's lapping him. And he just got this, he's a quiet dude, too. Ryan Rollins is going to get run when it's all said and done with. That dude he's just got a motor and a gait and just a tempo about him. He is a smooth cat. That dude is going to get... Ryan Rollins is a player. I'm telling you. If he leapfrogs some guys that, we're talking about right now, I will not be surprised.
Well, he's not leapfrogging Moody. That's not happening. In terms of the guards, I am very
DiVincenzo?
I was going to say, I'm very interested to see how this DiVincenzo thing turns out. Because this is really, when we call the Warriors last chance U for certain players, last year was Otto Porter Jr., GP2, Bielitsa. This year, DiVincenzo, he's really, JaMychal Green, somebody would sign him next year. But DiVincenzo, it didn't really work for you in Sacramento. You were decent in Milwaukee. If it doesn't work out here, if he doesn't reinvigorate his career here, it could be curtains. So he's got to be on top of it.
I don't know if it's curtains. He's still young enough. But there is a certain way of playing with the Golden State Warriors.
If you can't succeed on the Golden State Warriors...
Well, it's not for everybody, man. It's just, there's a certain way of playing basketball that sometimes is not suitable to a lot of guys. You just hope he's not another Brad Wanamaker. And the position is, go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, I was going to say, you know what? I mean, if he can just, and this is no slight to them, but if Damian Lee and JTA got signed, obviously they were with the Warriors for a couple years and they built up some things. So if DiVincenzo doesn't get complete, even if he gets leapfrogged, if he's still able to do some things and the Warriors win, he'll get signed somewhere.
The thing about DiVincenzo when it comes to his role with the Golden State Warriors, he's really, aside from Ryan Rollins, and this is why a lot of people want to compare him and Moody. Moody doesn't handle the basketball.
Yeah.
He's a true point, and the true backup point has always been a key position because Steph needs his minutes, and now somebody has got to run the show. Somebody's got to distribute. I know other players will
Jordan
do it.
Poole.
Yeah, but is Jordan Poole a true point, or is he an off? I mean, I say he's more comfortable at the two.
He's a combo. I think DiVincenzo is a combo as well, but can skew more towards one.
He's more of a one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's a valuable asset. And the only other guy that can do that is Ryan Rollins. And Ryan Rollins just needs minutes. I'm telling you, man, he's that dark horse on the outside who right now has got like 12 horses in front of him. But watch out. That kid's going to hit the stretch, and I'll have to remind you in about a month and a half about Ryan Rollins.
No, you won't.
Coming out of
You'll remind me before then.
All right, when we come back, we do a little in-style, out-of-style. Do you know of anybody that
got the trade?
Oh, all right, we can revisit the trade. What else you got?
The trade can be part of in-style, out-of-style, and I got some things for us. Don't you worry.
How's Mama Stas? She loves me, doesn't she?
She
speaks
Spanish. She's been running around. She went back for her homecoming. Norfolk,
oh, she did?
Norfolk State University had their homecoming. Norfolk, Virginia. So, yeah, she was having a good time out there. Took her to lunch not too long ago. Peruvian in Concord.
Peruana.
Lima. Very good.
Ay, caramba, peruana. Did you have did you have the paella?
We went lomo saltado.
Okay, lomo saltado. I know it well.
I know lomo scallops. It was good stuff. Some empanadas.
Empanadas to start, the little turnovers.
There
yes.
you go.
I was in Machu Picchu. I spent a lot of time in Lima and in Peru. And
there you go. I tell Dan.
Miraflores.
Yeah, I tell Dan I went to a Peruvian restaurant. Dan tells me he went to Peru.
It's all about me, right? All right, we'll come back in style, out of style after this.
At Harris Ranch, we do beef, just like we've done for over 50 years. Beef that's raised locally right here in California. Tender steaks, awesome burgers, and California classics like tri-tip roast. The flavor you crave, the quality you trust time after delicious time. Come on, it's time to get out and grill. Harris Ranch, we do beef. Legendary beef, legendary quality.
Wildfire is coming. Get set by knowing what to take and where to go. If you need to evacuate, go early to protect your family and community. Wildfire is coming. Do you have a plan? Learn more at readyforwildfire.org.
Do you have neuropathy? Are you experiencing numbness, tingling, and pain that just won't stop? Are you taking dangerous drugs that have serious side effects and never fix the pain? If so, please listen to this message. Neuropathy is a serious, progressive condition that only gets worse if not treated properly. Call SF Bay Wellness at 844-94-NERVE to get back to doing the things you want to do. There is no drug, exercise, or surgery that can heal nerves. Don't wait until your condition gets worse and stops you from living your life fully. SF Bay Wellness has a time-tested, proven track record of helping hundreds of patients to improve and reverse their neuropathy. If you're ready to regain your independence, contact SF Bay Wellness at 844-94-NERVE. Call now for your $99 neuropathy special and receive a personal treatment plan that is tailored to your needs. Call 844-94-NERVE. That's 844-94-NERVE and start to enjoy life again.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out. Go to getrbawindows.com for full offer details.
Homeowners, do you know when it's time to replace your windows? Feeling too hot or cold? It's time to replace. Can't see through fog between the glass? Time to replace. Spending too much on expensive energy that literally goes out the window? It's definitely time to replace. If you've been putting off replacing windows in your home because it's too expensive, here's great news. You can now get a free in-home window consultation and free price quote from Renewal by Andersen, the company with the most 5-star reviews among leading full-service window replacement companies. And this month only, you can buy one and get one 50% off when you purchase 4 units. Just text WINDOW to 323232 right now for your free consultation on top quality affordable windows or even patio doors for $0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for an entire year. That's right, you don't pay a dime for an entire year. Plus buy one and get one 50% off. But hurry, this offer won't last long. Text WINDOW to 323232 right now. Don't go into winter with drafty windows. Text the word WINDOW to 323232. Don't wait. Text WINDOW to 323232.
Attention! Did you or a loved one live at or near Marine Base Camp Lejeune in North Carolina between 1953 and 1987? If so, listen closely for this important legal announcement. From 1953 to 1987, Marines and their family members at Camp Lejeune drank water that was contaminated with hazardous toxins. The toxins found in the water at Camp Lejeune may cause health issues, especially later in life. Types of health issues associated with water at Camp Lejeune are numerous. If you or a loved one lived near Camp Lejeune between 1953 and 1987, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation without going to court. Even if you were turned down in the past, a new law can allow you to file a claim today. If you or a loved one spent time near Camp Lejeune, call the Negligence Network to find out if you're eligible for financial compensation. There's no fee unless we win your case. Call 1-800-700-4333. That's 1-800-700-4333. 1-800-700-4333.
Get a cash offer for your car, truck, or SUV today at your local Bay Area Chevy dealers. Selling has never been easier. Just bring it into a Bay Area Chevy dealer, get a free appraisal, and we'll make you a cash offer on the spot with no obligation to buy. We buy any make or model, paid off or not. Find your local Chevy dealer at BayAreaChevroletDealers.com.
If you owe back taxes to the IRS, have unfiled returns, or are worried about an audit, the IRS is hiring 87,000 new agents to address these very issues. That means if you need to get your tax problems resolved, now is the time to get started. I'm tax attorney Robert Goldstein, and my firm specializes in helping individuals and small businesses resolve their tax problems. We work to stop IRS and state seizures. We may be able to settle your tax debt for pennies on the dollar with an offer in compromise. We prepare your past due returns, even if you have no records, and represent you before the IRS and state in an audit. At the law offices of Robert Goldstein, the consultation is always free, and we have offices located throughout the Bay Area. To schedule your free consultation, call 1-888-TAX-EXIT. That's 888-TAXEXIT. 888-TAX-EXIT. and make us your last stop.
At Right Way Garage Doors, we consider what we do inspired craftsmanship. We see our craftsmen as artists using wood, glass, and metal as their brushes, your home as their canvas, their work inspired by the vision you have for your home's first impression. Right Way Garage Doors has been delivering the highest quality work with the right value and the right customer experience for 42 years. For a limited time, save up to $500 plus get no interest financing for up to 24 months. Call 877-DOOR-808 or visit rwgaragedoors.com.
Kirby is your driveway mechanic. They bring the shop to you with brake replacements, oil changes, washes, and so much more. Get $50 off your first oil change with code OIL50 at Kirby.com. That's CURBEE.com and use code OIL50.
Finding the right Medicare plan? Oof, no easy feat. Kind of like those dances my granddaughter loves making me do. But then I found Walgreens FindRx coverage. Lets you compare plans online, over the phone, or in person. Made Medicare shopping so easy. Plus, I found plans with low-cost copays. I can get down with that. Medicare annual enrollment ends December 7th. Find a plan that's right for you at walgreens.com/Medicare.
The new Google Pixel 7 Pro is super, especially when it's on Verizon, the network America relies on. It's supercharged, super powered, and a super...
deal.
You know it. Now, switch to Verizon and get the Google Pixel 7 Pro on us with select trade-ins and select 5G unlimited plans.
That really is super.
Yep. There's never been a better time to switch to Verizon. $899.99 device payment purchase with new smartphone line on select 5G unlimited plans required. $200 Verizon e-gift card with ported. Less $700 trade-in/promo credit applied over 36 months. 0% APR. Trade-in conditions and additional terms apply.
Now back to 95.7 The Game.
Oh, are we getting some Peruvian suggestions here? Go to Inca Grill. More homemade food style. Lima.
Okay.
Lima sucks for Peruvian.
Oh, from a Peru. Okay, well, hey. That's
what do you mean
fair.
Lima sucks from a Peruvian person? What does that mean?
I think 510 is saying they're Peruvian.
Yeah, but what do you mean Lima sucks?
The place is called Lima.
Oh, I thought they were talking about Lima, Peru.
Right.
The
No,
location.
no,
You're
no.
talking about the restaurant.
I'm talking about the restaurant
It was
in Concord.
called Lima.
Yes.
All right.
In Todos Santos Plaza. Another East Bay. You wouldn't know anything about that.
No.
Wouldn't know anything about that.
All right. Well, it's time once again. We haven't done this in a while.
We're back.
A little in style and out of style. Oh, Camarones. Ah, look at Camarones.
You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, woo, wheeling dealing, limousine riding, jet flying, son of a gun.
We are back on a beautiful Monday evening, in style, out of style. And I know there have been a lot of hot takes after. Dan, can you figure it out here? I know there have been a lot of hot takes after a rough game from the Niners, getting manhandled by the Chiefs. My question is this. You know, so many people had things to say after Trey Lance, even our own Dan Devone, just a couple series here, a couple series there. Didn't even get going. But somehow, some way, Jimmy Garoppolo's got safety after safety and interceptions, and there's still time. Now, we don't know where Jimmy's going to be after this year, but as the season goes on, as of right now, it doesn't look like he'd be back on the Niners, but we thought the same thing last year. So moving forward, since people are very cautious and not sure about one Trey Lance, there's a team in Las Vegas who they are now 2-4. And even though they beat the lowly Texans, they're still 2-4, and there is a tough road ahead. So I ask you, Niner fans, in terms of what you think Trey Lance could be, what you think Trey Lance could not be, I think Jimmy Garoppolo I think Derek Carr has more cachet to his name, even though he hasn't done too much in the postseason. Went last season, lost to Joe Shiesty, Joe Burrow. So if there was a trade for, I don't know what picks you got left, but a couple picks, Trey Lance, maybe throw in a player here or there, Elijah Mitchell, you got 15 running backs. For Derek Carr, would you do it? Would you do it? Derek Carr is known. People think he's underrated. He's just never had a good team. He's never had a defense half as good as the Niners, even with the Niners' issues. Do you do that deal?
Can I just ask you one very simple question?
Yes.
When it comes to this big trade that you've, I don't know how in the world this danced into your head. Why in the world, if you're the Las Vegas Raiders, would you want Trey Lance?
You're saying it as if Trey Lance is the worst thing ever. He barely played. What is he, 23 years old?
So you're saying you're going to blow it up out there in Las Vegas?
You're not blowing it. I mean, the bottom line is this. You're 2-4 right now without blowing it up. So I don't really know. And you got to think they want their own guy at some point. The Carr, for everybody that has had negative things to say about Derek Carr, I've always thought that me saying Derek Carr and the Raiders should part ways is not an indictment on Derek Carr. I just think that it's been enough time.
If you're talking about how they want their own guy, think about who it is that you're talking about. Should Josh McDaniels still be the next head coach? He's a Tom Brady guy. You're right, he inherited Derek Carr, but he and Brady are very close. He is from the Brady school. If he wants his own guy to start anew, you think it's Trey Lance?
You think Trey Lance's value is that bad?
Yeah.
I think you're underselling it just a little bit.
All right.
Just a little bit. Cam, what say you? Sterling, what say you?
Cam's looking at you like, my man, all I got is we got smoked 84 to nothing.
Maybe I shouldn't go to Cam.
Derek Carr.
Derek Carr, what? You want him here?
Yeah, I mean, why the heck not? I mean, maybe the system that Derek's with on the Raiders, that could just be because he's in the wrong system and around the wrong people. But what if you get him in a different system? He could change it around. I mean, that's just wishful thinking. Anything can happen.
I know, but what about Raider Nation? Where the hell are you guys? You want Trey Lance? Maybe I'm wrong here. What do you got, Sterling?
If I'm San Francisco, I already have my version of Derek Carr and Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, look, I get it. Garoppolo's not going to be here next year. You want to win now. But the whole point of going up for Trey Lance was to not have a quarterback in that same tier of your Jimmy G's, of your Derek Carrs. Why would you then trade more picks and the player that you hope can be better than the Derek Carr, than Jimmy Garoppolo, for the exact same player you already have?
So that's the question within the question. Who's better, Derek Carr or Jimmy G? That's really the question within the question.
I don't think that's the question, though. The question is, can Trey Lance be better than Derek Carr? You've already leveraged your future. You brought in Christian McCaffrey, you extended Deebo Samuel and George Kittle, and you don't have a first-round pick this year. You, although still having 6 picks next year, don't have one till the 3rd round, and that's a maybe if you get the comp pick for Jimmy and DeMeco Ryans. You have pretty much put all your eggs in the Trey Lance is going to be good basket. You can't now start swapping teams.
All right. I mean, the problem is I don't know what the Niners could give the Raiders, because I don't know why the Raiders would do that deal. I do still think that you are underselling Trey Lance's value a little bit.
All right, you're 0 for 1. What's next?
So I'm not here to bash on Gen Zers or sound like get off my lawn as a millennial, but there was a video going around. I think it was on SportsCenter, and this one hit close to home to me because I've been in this position. And it was a young woman sitting on grass, right, taking her cleats off. She's a soccer player, taking her cleats off for TikTok. Sad music playing in the background. Her phone posted right next to her. And as she's taking off her cleats and crying, she looks at the phone about 2 or 3 times. And the SportsCenter caption is, taking off your cleats for the last time. Like a bunch of sad face emojis. And I sent it to all my friends that I played with, because we all had that same feeling. But to put it on video and to look at the camera multiple times, Dan, it's going to sound very get off my lawn, but it was such a bad look, in my opinion. I know you take your you take your camera to the gym. Some people claim it's to check your form. I'm pretty sure there's mirrors in there. Is anything sacred anymore? Oh my gosh, this is my last college game. Let me quickly get my phone in position so I can video myself and how sad I am taking off my cleats. It was bad, man.
Yeah, but that's sort of where we're at now. I mean, everything is just, there's no genuine moments anymore. We got to show the world. Like everything is, we're all actors now.
That one
life is one big stage, bro.
That one really upset me. Really upset me. And shame on you, SportsCenter. You should be promoting stuff like that. Because that's what everybody was saying in the comments. Why are you, what? Oh my gosh, my life is changing. Let me videotape this real quick. Looks like
because if it's raw emotion.
That's what if somebody was if her mom caught her, right? Or somebody. But let me set it up. So I can make sure, and then SportsCenter, encourages it by posting that.
Before we move too far away from that crazy deal that you proposed with Trey Lance and Derek Carr, we got a caller. Apple's out in Alameda wants to talk about the Raiders and their quarterback, Derek Carr. What's up, Apple?
Hey, not much. So, big Raider fan here, and interesting question, and this question does come up as I talk to my fellow Niner friends, and the answer is, hey, I watched a lot of Niner games, and I don't want any of them. Look, I know Derek Carr has his deficiencies. There's different things that he could be doing better, but the reality is, hey, the resume speaks for himself. Look, he took a team that's a far inferior compared to the Niners rosters and the Niners defense, and he was able to take them to a playoff game multiple times, multiple years, and there's no reason why we would get off of a player that can take an inferior team to the playoffs for, one, an unproven dude, and two, a guy who can't even throw a post route. So that's my...
Apple, stay on the line here, because as a Raider fan... my question is this then. Raiders are sitting at 2-4. It's not an indictment on Derek Carr, but you got Josh McDaniels, you got a new coach in there. Forget the Trey Lance thing. How much longer can this go on? And I know his defense is atrocious, right? It's gotten a little bit better. You got Max Crosby, you got some guys. But how much... Yep. Chandler Jones as well. How much longer can this go on with Derek Carr? It's not even an indictment on Derek Carr, but...
Well, let me ask you a quick question. What's going on with it? What's more specifically, what are you asking?
Is it just time for a refresh for both sides?
Well, I can appreciate the question, but as I'm really a fan, and I watch every single play, and I watch all the games. And at the end of the day, it comes down to the eye test, and it's how are we losing? How much are we losing by? And the reality is, we're keeping these games really, really close. I'm talking last drive type of situations. And the difference between last year and this year is that we are winning those, and we aren't this year. So it's sometimes there is a regression that happens in the sport. There's high volatility, and I just don't feel like there's enough bad play where I'm we got to get a new quarterback. This doesn't make any sense. The games are really close.
Yeah. Thanks, Apple. I see you're in Alameda. I'm in Alameda, too. Maybe I'll see you out there. All right. Next one.
On the island.
On the island. Alameda, as I call it, actually. The next one, this was really cool during Padres-Phillies. Aaron Nola and Austin Nola, first brothers to face off in the postseason. Now, I believe brothers have played in the postseason together, but pitcher-batter. First ones to face off pitcher-batter. The Padres actually won that game when Austin Nola got a hit off his younger brother. Aaron Nola, Austin Nola really went through the trenches to get to the big leagues. Almost was out of the league, had to take a break, came back in, played for a different org. As we know, Aaron Nola was that dude out of LSU. So really cool to see them. And the parents, I don't know if you saw, the dad had on both jerseys, right? It would be funny because people who didn't know, you don't know who they are. They were in normal seats. Were probably thinking, who is this dude wearing two jerseys? He probably got yelled at specifically by Philly fans, not knowing that he's their dad. So that was a really cool thing. Next thing I saw somebody on social media that I follow says she went on a first date. And on the first date, the guy she was on the first date with ordered apple juice. And she wanted to know
Punt.
if it was a red flag to order apple juice
Punt.
on the first date.
Punt.
That's a very red flag. It's not even about the alcohol thing. You don't have to drink, but apple juice? I don't even know the last time I had apple juice.
Yeah, that's just that's just wrong. Well, here's the thing, though. Maybe he's a keeper. Maybe everybody just wants to go that direction. And maybe this dude, sometimes you got to zig and not zag.
Cranberry juice, yeah. Grapefruit juice, yeah. When is the last... 888-957-9570. When is the last time you had apple juice? Let me... You know what tastes... You know what sounds really good right now? A nice cold glass of apple juice.
Well, not... So you drink that processed crap.
Oh,
I got to turn you into, like, real apple juice.
Who's out here grinding up apples, Dan?
This time of the year, I'm telling you, it's in harvest, man.
Either way, hey, can I get some fresh squeezed apple juice at the restaurant? Come on. That's out of style.
What did she do?
I don't know. Clearly she wasn't asking if it was a red flag. She was just letting people know, because it's a little bizarre. It doesn't happen every day.
Yeah.
What if you're on a date and some guy or woman asks for milk? That's a red flag to me.
Ew, that's creepy.
And like, not to say milk is disgusting or bad, because you have cereal, people drink it with cookies or whatever. But like,
people drink milk with their dinner, though. That's
weird.
A thing, though.
And like, don't get me wrong, Midwest, they put ice in their milk, drink it all the time. I get that stuff. But like, if a grown man says, "Hi, can I have milk with my pasta?"
Well, they're both red flags.
Gone.
I had a buddy
the milk creeps me out. The juice, she's a maybe he's it's on the healthy side, but milk means like he's a serial killer.
My buddy from up north, Washington, they do apple pie in a bowl of milk, not pie a la mode. You know what I mean?
Well, again, you're talking about. Because if you're talking about Eastern Washington or in the Pacific Northwest, you're talking about that's apple country. So sometimes you got to defer, man.
Right. Hey, they know.
I'm telling you, man, the orchards out there, that's real apples. That's the real deal out there.
It's real deal. Next one, I have Black Adam, saw this weekend, did a little date night. Look, if you're looking for this really dark, gritty movie that's super deep, shout out Sterling, because I know he's going to refuse to watch it.
How come your wife doesn't call? Does she like me?
She's got better things to do.
Come on.
She's got better things to do. But I thought it was fun, right? It's one of those classics when you go on Rotten Tomatoes. It's got a terrible critics review, but a pretty good fan review because it was a fun movie. Say after the credits, Black Adam. Go out. It's a great date movie. Don't think too hard, right? What I tweeted after I saw, sometimes you want a 5-star restaurant, sometimes you just want some McDonald's, right? And that's all I can leave to that. Next one I have, I don't know if you saw this one, Dan, but everybody was talking about this show called The Bear. It's the show about the chef.
Oh, it's the best.
Okay.
Now we're going.
Now we got
what do you
something
want
to
to know
talk
about The Bear?
I saw The Bear.
The Bear's real deal.
It was a great movie, great show. The ending was bizarre. It was random.
Well, it's just season 1.
Where do you even go from there after that?
Trying to remember the ending. Oh, are you kidding me? You could easily go.
I thought it was a great show. I thought it was... People blew it up a little too much.
No, man.
A little too much. Just a little.
No. Now you're getting into my neighborhood. Bro, see, now you should have gone out.
Just a little bit.
You should have gone out on apple juice or you weird milk drinking freak.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
It
was a good show. It was a good show.
See,
I have it behind. Severance is my number 1 on the year. And The Bear, it was good. People are talking about it like it's the best thing since sliced bread.
It is.
It was good.
That's why you go to date movie, the Adam Ant thing, and I go see like The Bears because if you've ever worked in a restaurant, and that's what he did.
And all I do is watch. I know all I do is watch Food Network. All I do is watch shows.
Oh yeah, you and your wife should appreciate that.
We did, but people were going nuts over it, Dan.
Well,
it was a really good show. It was a really good show. People were saying, this might be the best show I've ever... And I don't even know what the best show I've ever seen is.
No, that is a show that is... I'm really overly critical. Like, maybe Squid Game was the last thing I'm like, okay, I'm into this.
Right.
Is it The Bear or Bear?
The Bear.
The Bear. That is... And it's the guy from... what was the show he just left?
Shameless.
It ran for like...
We'll talk off... We'll talk off air about the ending because it was the ending that's the one that kind of threw it for me.
With his brother, man. See, and the thing about it is that it's good acting. It's real.
Good act. It was yeah. Everyone loves a gritty show. It was gritty. Yeah,
what didn't you like about it again?
I'll talk to the ending.
Well, I mean, nah, man. There's nothing wrong with that thing. Why would you even want to go there?
Okay, shows that have a specific plot line, and in the end, that issue gets resolved. Why am I going to watch it anymore? That's all I'll say.
Well, that's just
it.
That's resolved. The creativity of the show. There's clearly room for part two.
Let me get this last one in because I know you spoke about the Astros a little bit earlier. A little bit conflicted.
You're not doing the Mike Evans autograph?
Yes, I did. I did send you that earlier. The Mike Evans autograph. The NFL is investigating a ref who appears to ask Mike Evans for an autograph after the game. If this comes out and it's true, by the way, 650 is saying apple juice is fantastic. You are a hater. Do you have kids, 650? I don't purchase apple juice. But anyway, if this comes out that it's true that the ref, Dan is just throwing footballs. It's if you see on YouTube. If the ref did actually ask for an autograph, which a lot of people are saying probably happens more than we think, but it's not caught on. It's all about video. You got to be suspended. How can I trust you to ref another Tampa Bay game?
It's like a judge in a courtroom asking a defendant for an autograph.
Right.
You're impartial. You can't do it.
That is a bizarre. Just a fumble of the bag, man. I guess it was a Panthers media member who caught it happen and just happened to be videotaping. Either way, and the refs, they get paid a lot of money. So you really want to throw that away because your kid or your grandkid wants an autograph? I mean, we've looked it up. Refs make $300K, something like that, and I don't think you get fired for it. But also, being impartial that's the number one thing. All right, last one. Dan talked about, still hating the Astros. I'm a bit torn this World Series.
Torn?
Phillies.
Torn?
No. I'm not really torn because I'm going to go Phillies. Obviously, I went to school in Philly. My friends are hyped. And I want Bryce Harper to get his ring. Bryce Harper has been underrated for majority of his career. I think he came out at a time right before the whole let the kids play thing came out. He had a little too much flair. People weren't ready for it. They wanted Mike Trout. They wanted to play the game the right way. And now Bryce is getting his opportunity. I do feel bad because it's at the hands of one Dusty Baker, and I hope he gets a ring sometime, but I really do want Bryce to get his ring. So I'm a bit torn because Dusty has nothing to do with the cheating, nothing to do with it, all right?
Yeah, but he's wearing the uniform. So, Dusty, we love you, but, dude, you went to the dark side. Sorry.
Go Phils. Phillies, America's team.
Go Phillies for Allen, for Camarones, and my man Sterling. It's Dan Devone. Until next time, good night, everybody.